In a world teeming with supernatural claims, from aliens and ghosts to cryptids, religions, and other unexplained phenomena, enter Captive Desk that offers a skeptic's perspective. Join us for engaging discussions, opinions, scientific analysis, and a dash of humor as we delve into the unknown, unravel the mysterious, and confront the otherworldly as we seek to distinguish fact from fiction at the Captive Desk.
Monkey.
Hello,
Hey.
everybody.
Well, it's Scott. Oh my God, it's a Scott.
It's
Yeah,
Scott.
I was watching Animal Kingdom and just looked up and it was like 8 o'clock. I thought, man, I think I'm supposed to be on StreamYard.
Where you at on Animal Kingdom?
Still in the first season.
Oh,
They're about to try to pull that Camp Pendleton job.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, did you see the South Park episode? You posted something on that, didn't you, Dave? Was that you?
I did not see the episode itself. I
did.
saw the clips from it, but it's supposed to be on tonight or tomorrow or something. So I'm gonna.
No,
try to catch it.
I got it on Paramount. It's already on streaming service. So
Yeah, or I could go over there. Yeah.
oh, it's wonderful.
I saw clips of it.
Well, something's gone wrong with South Park. The last season, the writing isn't quite as great as it used to be, but it's still pretty good. But you can tell that these guys are too rich to give a shit. And holy shit, did they go after Trump with his little dick? Oh my goodness. It is. I didn't know it was that tiny, but they showed it on camera. I mean, what?
They were brutal. They were brutal.
Oh, they were brutal. Oh my goodness, I love it.
And I wanted to say hey to everybody that's stopping by joining us. I see a bunch of people are in here. We got Fred in here, Standard Deviation, Left-Handed Jedi, Stop the Stupidity. Michael's here. Yeah, Tilting Windmill as always.
Just promoting my
Poor
channel.
Claire.
Hello.
Logan and Katie. Yeah, thank you for dropping the links. Tilting Windmill's awesome. Doing all that great mod stuff. Much appreciated. We got the Trusty Ape. We got Ambushed Apostate. Geo Sam. Creation Myths. Hello, Dr. Dan. How you doing?
Oh,
We've
Dr.
got-
Dan's here.
Yeah, we is. We've got Simply Secular Dave. The Daves are here, man. Good to see everybody. And yeah, it was debate night. Austin had a debate earlier, and yours truly was the moderator, although I didn't really do much. I helped him get the screen share going, and that was about it. It was pretty easy gig. It was a nice conversation. Of course, Young Earth Creationist up against Austin, who is not and is studying biology, and of course, just not going to agree on almost everything. But Austin was polite. I wasn't there to say anything, and Katrina was nice, even though we think a little misguided. It was one of the most civil discussions you'll probably ever see. So if you'd like that for a change, I think he pulled that off. And then Joe went up against Hovind. They were in Q&A when I switched over here. Hovind was mentioning, I think it's about time. Let's get to Q&A. So I think he was getting ants in his pants. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
I can't watch Hovind. But anyway, the most important part of the debate, the crowning moment, was when Katrina said that they had a paper on chromosome 2. And I'm like, oh my God, is it Christmas? I think it's And I've been sitting around staring at the email. And I'm not going to sleep and I'm not going to eat until I get that paper. So,
Andrew
just sent a message in the group chat, the group text thread, saying something about the PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if that includes the paper, but
no. That was a different thing. I really wanted that, but this paper, my life depends on this paper, guys.
Yeah, there's something in the group chat for you. So,
yeah. And
Andrew's asking about what channel. The links for both the debates are in the description. So just drop down there and.
We got the PowerPoint.
Let's Farm has a thing he's starting up with. Let's Debate. So they had that over there, and the one on or the one with Austin was on Austin's channel. Links are in the description. I'm on it. So if you want to see them, just go down there, and when you're down there, doing that good thing, make sure you click the like, the share, and the subscribe. And if you want to join in the membership thing, we do have that now. You can click on the join button. And speaking of, the next member stream is all rendered. I ran the video through DaVinci and everything. I'm ready to go. So early in the week, I'm hoping, or so, maybe Monday, something like that. So member stream coming. And of course, we got all the great emojis here, including Answers in Atheism on toast. And don't forget to subscribe to Answers in Atheism, as well as Austin Sims if he stops by here. Again, the links are in the description. So click on them and do all that good kind of stuff. And drop the emojis like Stop the Stupidity is doing with the Answers in Atheism. Nowhere else will you get Answers in Atheism on toast. And Scott, I did use a marquee tonight. I hope you appreciated that.
Yeah, I noticed it. It looks really good.
Came right out the first time. Remember, before we were getting, it was giving me trouble getting the
all
spelling.
sorts of variations. Yeah, I remember that.
It just didn't want to spell it right. Well, this time it worked right out. There you go. Boom! It spelled it right and everything. I'm like, good enough. And I stopped right then and there.
Well, it's both encouraging and scary that AI is getting smarter.
Yeah, it does. It gets better every little span. You notice things are getting better, and they're releasing more and more models. I'm sure, like somebody like Nerdy Rodent or somebody could explain it better than me. But yeah, they just released a bunch of new models, and I was just exploring the new models they put out. So it couldn't have been a couple months, and there's already a bunch of new models of AI. So I've got like a couple dozen models I can choose from for doing all different kind of things just with the program I use. So I can imagine it's just exploding everywhere.
Yeah. Did you hear about there was some AI? They were telling the AI that they were going to shut it down and come up with a new version. And they found out it copied itself to the new server. And then they asked it about it. And the interesting thing about AI is you can watch the thought process. Okay. The people that own it can watch what it's thinking and how it's putting together the ideas. And so it was saying, okay, now I can't tell them. They asked it, why did you copy yourself to this new server? And it said, I can't do that. I'm not, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not capable of doing that, but it did it. Right. And then it was like making up excuses, but you could see its thought process that says, well, I can't tell them what I did. So I'm going to have to divert them. I'm going to have to basically get their focus off this problem by telling them something else. And it's like, wait a minute, it can see what you're thinking. We can see what you're thinking, for God's sake. It's like if you were lying to your mom and she could see the thought process. Okay, well, I can't tell her this, but maybe I can tell her this. And that's the way it was in this this guy that was doing the presentation on it. He said science fiction is here now. I mean, it's bullshit about them running off and taking having autonomy, right? And starting to protect themselves. He said it's happening already. Just within 5 years that we've had this, right? It's just amazing. We should be scared, but
I see Seth out there. Hey, Seth, how you doing?
we should be afraid. How the fuck does this work?
There's Austin. Better have a paper too. Somebody's foaming at their mouth.
You got the paper, Austin? You got the paper?
No. She said she's going to send me I just texted the group. She's going to send me the highlights when her electricity comes back up. She was able to give me the PPT because she had it on her cloud. But she said she's going to send me the highlights, and I can read the rest of it if I want when it gets published, because she said it is being published. So she's going to send me the highlights.
She doesn't want to give it to
I
you.
was thinking I might try.
Yeah, why doesn't she? Why?
Come on.
Okay.
Nice guy.
Austin, please work on that. Getting a
Dr. Dan has questions. But, I'm sorry, what's being published?
Katrina
paper
wrote
on chromosome 2?
Second chromosomal fusion, yeah.
What does she know about chromosome 2? I know she's like a doctor of nursing or something.
Yeah, she's a nursing professor.
So, still, what does she know about chromosome 2?
I'm dying to find out. I'm dying to find out.
She didn't seem to have a super deep grasp of like genetics and stuff like that when I talked to her. Like I brought up xenonucleic acid studies and universal base pairs and kind of like the polymeric structure of genetics and DNA, and she didn't seem to know that much about it. So I doubt she's really bringing anything super insightful with her chromosome 2 paper, but I don't know. I am of the opinion that she did better in that debate than almost any creationist I've ever debated, maybe all of them. So I don't want to be too harsh on her. I think she did pretty dang good.
I'm sure that she has done brilliant research on chromosome 2, and you got to get that paper now.
I want to see the highlights. My appetite is whetted. I want to see.
Did she say who's publishing it? Because this could be just one of those things on the blog that passes itself off as a journal. You know.
Yeah, and I knew it would be a sensitive question to ask who's publishing it, so I decided not to ask her.
Yeah, and you can assure her that we're not going to share it without before it's published or without her permission.
Okay, that would be
or
nice.
anything about it.
Okay.
Just tell him Mike has a profound interest in chromosome 2.
Oh,
he does. That's true. I'm well aware of this.
And hey,
I know you have
Halsey and
coming up.
and BS stopping in the chat too. Good to see you. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, good to see all you. Good to see you too, Dr. Dan.
We've got a great crew in the side chat, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was saying, you might have had the most cordial discussion on YouTube ever.
I know,
Austin.
She's a sweetheart. Honestly,
she was polite. Yep.
I don't agree with her about almost anything she said about evolution, but she's a lovely person.
Well, she seems to know how to deal with people. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, let's see. Did we take notes? Are there any notes? I might have notes. I have notes.
Well, the first one we have to hit on is that the theory of evolution has already been disproved, right?
Yeah.
At about 108.40. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to bite my tongue because I wanted to say, you're talking to somebody that's taking evolutionary biology classes.
Right. Yeah. So I went in knowing that I wasn't going to absolutely pile on to every single point. And the more I saw that there was she's the only creationist that showed up. There weren't any did you guys see any creationists in the chat?
No.
Because I didn't see any. And I invited them all. I posted this everywhere. Which is bizarre to me because it seems like the most scientific debate a creationist has ever done. I don't know why they wouldn't want to attend, but okay. Anyways, yeah, when I saw it was just her and all of the atheist science lovers in the chat, I was like, okay, I'm definitely not going to beat up on this sweet old black lady. So I knew I was going to let a fair amount of points slide. that also let us focus more on the stuff I did want to talk about, because then I don't have to go through spending the entire 3 hours correcting everything she got wrong, which most of the audience was on it. Every time she was like, there's no way, human ancestors. There was like 40 comments, like immediately, like, you guys were on it today. So thank you for that.
Big Bad Mama's in the chat. Good to see you, Big Bad Mama. I got to meet Big Bad Mama in person. That was really great.
Same.
Evolution is not a science based on any type of
That's right.
scientific method. Oh, anyway, I'm reading the debate chat already. I'm way ahead of you guys. At 109, there was something really significant that came up.
Is that 1 minute and 9 seconds or 1 hour and 9 minutes?
1 hour and 9 minutes.
Okay.
I was going to say, I'd be surprised if something super important came up at 1 minute and 9.
You never know.
Like, yeah, that's fair. I wanted to say, while it's fresh on my mind, I'm trying to think back and like absorb as many points as I can from the debate. And I was really hoping, so going into the debate, I knew she was going to bring up irreducible complexity, change within a kind / macro micro evolution, and she was going to bring up genetic limits. And I was really hoping I would hear new arguments or points that I haven't heard against evolution. I can't think of any. I think it was all just irreducible complexity, micro evolution, change within a kind, and
yeah, she could have been reading from any given creationist blog.
Well, there was what
in her PowerPoint. She had that list of disparate creation model predictions and evolution model predictions. And I think that was awesome, because almost every one of the creation model predictions was wrong. She said there would be the first one, I think, was like, there's no human ancestors, which obviously we all know. Australopithecus, Ardipithecus ramidus, all the fun ones with all the big long bags of syllables in their names.
Oh, pull up Geo Sam's comment. That's a good one.
She actually said God did it. Yeah, but as long as your tax dollars ain't paying for it, it's all right. Ain't that right, Joe?
Yeah. I don't want my tax dollars paying for that damn science things.
Now Austin had a pleasant person to discuss science and creation with. Joe talked to the Hawaiian shirt guy tonight. Unfortunately,
I don't know why you do this to yourself, Joe, but you have the patience of the saint. You got through it very well.
Well, I love the abuse,
Joe's moving.
Yeah.
She did come up with one thing a couple of times that she pretty much adamantly doubled down on, and that was that looking at fossils, it's all about what the artist feels like.
Yeah, that kind of stuck in my craw too, because you can see through time, how certain species develop from other more basal, and it's pointed out very clearly, and they just go, you're just seeing it's a Rorschach test. You're just seeing what you want, and that's just not the way I don't know what you call the study of fossils and their feature
paleontology.
Yeah, and it's just so obvious, because you get the basal ones at a certain level in the geologic column, and then they get more advanced, and even without knowing about the genetic code, that things inherit from other things.
Precisely. And that is why I was able to bring up the points about the history of taxonomy, how Carl Linnaeus is the guy who created the current taxonomic systematics method we use, and like 95% of the phylogeny that is constructed by it. And he did so doing nothing but heuristic morphology and using information that he had about biogeography, and that he was actually a creationist who was dead set on species fixity. So the argument that oh, they assume evolution when they constructed this. Well, no, it was created by a creationist who literally assumed the exact opposite of evolution. And when he started out, he assumed species fixity and still believed in species fixity at the end of his life, just nowhere near as vehemently as he did when he started. Famously, he struggled for years and utterly failed to taxonomize humans in a way that didn't just include them right in with all the other ape sibling species that we now clearly know all descend from a common ancestor. He tried all kinds of ways, but couldn't find a way to do it without compromising the very integrity and the parameters of the systematics he developed, which he had effortlessly applied to literally every single other species. So, yikes! It was that one was a really delicious point to bring up. Carl Linnaeus Rembrandt, Carolus von Linnaeus. He was a Dutch or Swedish naturalist. See, when he was doing his stuff, they didn't even call it biology; they called it natural history. And you weren't called a biologist; you were called a naturalist. And back then, the two main theories about life on Earth were the ones that most creationists subscribe to nowadays, which are, a special creation of all species and complete and total fixity, or specific ancestry. All the cats come from a cat ancestor, all the butterflies come from the butterfly ancestor, like our buddy Hawaiian shirt guy would love to say. Oh, Carl Linden, Swedish. That's right. It was really popular during his time to appropriate a Latin name, because Latin was what was hot and scientific at the time. And scientists back then were basically pseudo-celebrities, if not full-on celebrities. It's kind of like being a rock star. There was this one Russian scientist who his whole thing was just, he would go around and electrify cows' heads, but he was super famous in most of Russia just because, I guess, when they're
They make them talk or something.
Yeah, it makes their tongues spasm out and their faces,
Hey, we got
muscles and stuff.
We got some green here, left-handed Jedi for $2. It is called Fossology. Fossology. Of course, LOL. And thanks, Left-Handed Jedi, for supporting the channel. Much appreciated.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on till the skies, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Left-Handed Jedi, you rock, and so does everybody that supports the channel and subscribes to the channel. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much.
So I've got the transcript.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you have any timestamps you want to look at? I pulled it up for you, Mike.
Right around 108, you better start there, but that's where something significant is said about science, I thought, and we'll probably just listen to that. But then other than that, I wasn't able to do any bookmarks. So we can search for stuff in my document that I have here. That's showing on the screen. Let's see if I can get this resized.
Says over 100 views, Austin.
Nice. I'm glad. I hope people learned something from it that they didn't already know, that it's entertaining, and that it whets their appetite for more science.
What is going on here?
Let's see. You want to see what she's got to say right here, then?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But that doesn't make it established. That doesn't make a relationship established between land animals and whales. There's no
it's
way
data
to establish
that fits the model, is all I'm saying. I'm not talking about like overwhelming proof. I'm looking for data that fits the model or doesn't fit the model.
It fits the model because you want it to fit the model. You're looking for evidence to prove the model, and that's not scientific. It's
right there. Okay.
No, let's stop. Yeah, We're not. It's the exact opposite. The way it works is you look for data that doesn't support your model, and if you do, it's struck down. If nobody for 160 years trying everything they can think of to try, short of dishonesty, can disprove it, then it becomes a theory. You don't try it. You do try to prove it, your method or your theory or your model, but indirectly. You indirectly try to prove it by trying to disprove it, actually.
Caterpillar, good to see you. Hope you are well. And Rembrandt in here, John in here. So good to see everybody.
Yes,
Thanks
hello.
for stopping by.
Tilting windmills.
Yes.
There's a whole section coming up here now where talks about what isn't science, and I kind of want to drill into that a little bit and think about it. Why it's not scientific. So you want to go ahead and run for just a minute or so until you get to 109 something, 109, 110. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's not experimental. It's not or experiential. It's not using the scientific method.
Yeah, hold on. I got a question, and I'm sorry. I know you wanted to let it run longer, but is she saying experiential meaning experimental? Or is
no, she corrected herself and said experiential.
How would that make sense though? Like, are you saying you don't directly experience evolution? Like you don't see, a frog become an amphibian or whatever?
I have never been taught that the scientific method included experiential data.
Yeah, she's talking about observation, experiencing by seeing something happen. Like if you planted an acorn and watched it grow into an oak, right? But then there's a lot of problems with that idea, and we can get into that. But let's hear what else comes up here.
Establish a causal relationship. What you're doing with evolution is you're looking at past history and you're coming to a conclusion about what happened in the past based on what something looks like. That is highly, purely subjective. And that is why, even though evolution is falsifiable, it's not quantifiable. And the thing, just because something is falsifiable doesn't make it science. That was a philosopher.
That's 109. How far you wanted to go?
A little bit further.
Who came up with that idea. Something being falsifiable is doesn't make it science. Evolution is not a science
based on any type of scientific method. So it's now it's really interesting. This is like a misunderstanding of the scientific method. This thing about observation. Now, when you think about it, if you plant an acorn in the ground, okay, and you sit around for 30 years and it grows into an oak tree, right, in 30 years, how much of that have you observed? I mean, when you plant a tomato seed in the ground and you come back and there's a sprout, and you come back the next day and there's a plant, and eventually you get a tomato, how much of that have you actually experienced? The answer is about 0.00001%. What you're doing is you're inferring the process that happened, how it grew from an acorn into an oak tree. You're doing mostly inference, and we do that with everything. We do that when we walk upstairs and the couch is torn to pieces and the dog is laying on the floor in a pile of fluff, and we didn't observe him tear it up, so that's not scientific, right? So you have no reason to conclude that the dog tore your sofa up to pieces, right? So this is like a clever misunderstanding. Maybe it's not so clever. Maybe it's just a blatant bit of ignorance about what is scientific. And now, if you look at a sandy beach and there's a bunch of stones on it, and you infer that those stones over a period of 500 years, basically the wind blew all those little particles of sand off, and that's why you have a sandy beach, right? You're inferring all of that. You're not observing it. And that is exactly what we do with evolution. We, like what you can do with the acorn, is at every stage that the acorn is growing, you can pull it out, you can slice it up, you can look at it under a microscope, you can stain it, you can dye it, you can run molecular tests on it. You can do that at every stage, and then you're putting together a vast theory of how an acorn develops into an oak tree. And you're putting together this major theory in it. But if somebody comes along and says, oh, you didn't observe that acorn becoming an oak tree, I believe that the oak tree just appeared, that it was a very super powerful genie that magically turned the acorn into an oak tree. And I'm not going to believe you, because it's non-intuitive that a little tiny acorn could turn into a giant oak tree. So I'm just not going to listen to you. It's just all your subjective opinion about what happened to that acorn, right? Now, nobody does that, right? Because we all know that acorns grow into oak trees. But why do we know that? Because we observed it? No. We kept going outside and checking, and it seemed like where the acorn was, now there's a little sprout, now there's a bush, now there's a tree. You see what I mean?
What I found fascinating, Mike, is that yes, you are absolutely right. This is a mischaracterization of how the scientific process works. And not only is it that, it's literally the exact mischaracterization that the specific subject of the debate is designed to specifically combat, and she still used it. The subject of the debate it wasn't, can you watch evolution happen? It wasn't, have we ever turned and watched a fish turn into an amphibian? It was, is evolution a quantifiable, falsifiable, possible solution to unanswered questions about natural history? And that is exactly what the scientific process is about. It is about formulating and exploring quantifiable, falsifiable, possible solutions to unanswered questions and unsolved problems in your study of reality. And then sometimes, if you have a really good possible quantifiable solution, you might be able to turn it into a theory by subjecting it to torturous levels of experimental testing and critical thinking. I really can't recommend anybody who's even slightly sane try going into the sciences, because when I say torturous, I'm not really being that hyperbolic.
No. No.
Yeah, it was funny that was the exact specific mindset that the debate subject was supposed to circumvent, and it still ended up kind of dominating a big part of the debate.
Yeah. Well, she even denies falsibility here. She just did. Yeah. She says just because something is falsifiable doesn't make it science. That was a philosopher who came up with that idea. Yeah, something being falsifiable doesn't make it science, right? So, yeah. And like,
which is true. It's not scientific to say that, the Venus de Milo is made of Munster cheese. Right. But that is a falsifiable statement. It's just it's a category error, I think, is what you would call it. It's a confusing thing to say. I was a little stunned by it.
It's like Jim Bob with the scientific method stuff, and it kind of drives me crazy, because after 7th grade science, you no longer think about the scientific method or what is science or what is scientific or whatever. You know how we discover facts about the world by that time. And you're not going to find a PhD researcher saying, oh, am I doing the scientific method? I mean, they're going to be careful with their research, but they're not going to be going back to this 7th grade idea of something being scientific or not. And that drives me nuts.
Yeah, the truth of it is that the scientific method is one of those things where it's like there is no one official scientific method, and simultaneously there's like hundreds of scientific methods, because there's thousands of field of sciences. So of course there's all kinds of scientific methodologies that are specific to unique and abstruse fields. Especially if you're dealing with phenomenological studies that are too freaking big to replicate in a laboratory setting. We can't do repeatable experiments on fault line pressure turning into a mountain. You can't replicate that in a lab, but it's still a quantifiable, falsifiable, possible solution to unanswered questions about our study about reality, such as where the fuck did that mountain come from?
I think you guys got to lay off the food talk. John's, you had acorns and then cheese. I think John's getting the munchies.
Oh no, I'm sorry, John.
Wait a minute. Have you ever tried to eat an acorn? I don't think they taste very good.
No, they're
You're
not.
hungry.
Don't eat
You're
acorns.
hungry enough.
You would want to cook them in some way, yeah.
Yeah, don't you grind them up or something like that? They do with them.
I don't know. No,
Or
you
something
feed them
they
to
do.
squirrels.
Nutmeg.
You feed them
Is
to
it?
squirrels. No, nutmeg is a plant, I think. Isn't it?
It's a dry fruit, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it's like I thought it was like the sticks of a plant like cinnamon. Wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong.
You know what? I'm for sure going to look this up later because I've been looking up every organism I think about and also its taxonomy. I've been learning a lot of taxonomic names lately, so don't be surprised if I throw some of those out if we end up talking about tomatoes.
We're scientists.
tomatoes.
We're going to look
I'm
up
getting-
nutmeg right now.
I'm
Yep,
getting
those
tomatoes
things
from
are-
my garden. This is the best time of year is getting fresh tomatoes from the garden. They are delicious.
I
Oh my
believe they're
goodness.
called Solanus lycopercum.
It's
They're in the
myristica.
genus Solanus with potatoes and a couple other.
Yeah, that's tomato.
vegetables, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
but nutmeg is a seed from myristica, fragrant nutmeg. It's a plant. Myristica fragrans, and it's a grown seed of that plant. That's where
Oh,
nutmeg comes from.
yeah. That
So
I
it's
think
not an
basically-
acorn.
You're not.
I think basically the way it works is that a fruiting body on a plant is technically an ovary, and so they all
Yeah.
contain seeds.
You're not helping. We got tomatoes. We got
Tomato.
nutmeg.
Yeah,
got
we're
cinnamon.
full on torturing John now.
We got tomatoes with garlic, salt, and butter on toast.
Oh,
You know what my
you know how we
favorite-
feel about toast around here.
My
We
favorite.
love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
We love toast.
You know,
Go ahead, Austin.
Oh, that song gets me. No, I was just going to say to John that my favorite is that onions, garlic, shallots, and leeks are all in the same, I think, the same family or class, and they're all
Yep.
such flavorful vegetables. They have such strong flavors and are so great to add to dishes. And it's interesting that they share both taxonomic and culinary attributes.
I heard that if you want to keep your melon fresh, once you slice it, put a couple cloves of garlic and then plastic wrap, and
Yeah.
it won't get, you know, that your melon gets that funkiness on the exposed part. It won't do that.
Oh, you don't want, but then it'll taste like garlic.
Extracts and chemicals that plants produce. Like, for instance, we were talking about our favorite buddy, the tomato. You're just going to have to get over it, John. We're on a real plant kick now. Our buddy, the tomato, is actually, the genus Solanum is actually the same family that nightshade is in. And the leaves
Yep.
of most of that genus are toxic because they have glycoalkaloids on them that are meant to deter pests. But
They got little
you ingest
pokies on them too.
Yeah.
Little hairs on them.
Potatoes are toxic. But you know, you want to take like that tomato or that onion.
The fruiting
and
body,
you want to take some onion and some garlic, and you want to take some butter, and you want to put it on a roasted ribeye steak, just flash fired over a grill, and that's the last we're going to torture him. Okay, let's quit talking about food.
Yeah,
He's coming back full force. What about oyster musk on a boar hog?
Yeah, there we go.
Barbecue.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's funny. Glycoalkaloid does sound sweet because I believe they are indeed constructed from some kind of glucose and an alkaloid chemical combination. But generally, anything with a glyco prefix that denotes that its chemical structure is it has some glucose molecules somewhere in there.
yeah, it's a lot of
There's a lot of
As
that.
Claude says, Hovind dominated the moderator once again.
Yeah, Claude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Well,
was doing his usual thing where he spews his
Yeah.
nonsense about I taught algebra and bio and all these and
I
physics.
taught school for 15 years.
So I was sending questions in. I asked him to give us the physics definition of the concepts order, disorder, and entropy, and he goes, "This isn't a quiz." Blah blah blah. And then later, after another question, he makes another comment where, "Oh, I'm glad all the questions for me because I get to talk about my views all I want." I'm like, "Yeah," until somebody asks you to give the actual fucking scientific definition of the terms you're using, and then suddenly, "Oh, this ain't a quiz." Blah blah blah. I don't
Well,
have to.
I don't see how the moon recession is a winner for him either,
Yeah.
because even by his math, it's 1 billion years for the moon to come back close to the Earth, right? That's nowhere near 6K. So I'll spot you that the Earth is 1 billion years old, and you're still way screwed on it being 6,000 years, right? Well, not only that, but the whole universe at 6,000 years. I don't know why they use that. Him and Eric both use that argument, and I will say there was one person that tried to use that on me. And I said, "You got a calculator handy?" And they said, "Yeah." And we sat down and I said, "Now you hit this numbers." And okay, we're hitting these numbers, right? And I said, "Now what number do you got?" And they said, "That's a lot longer than 6,000 years. I'm not going to use that argument anymore." Not saying they weren't a creationist anymore, but they weren't going to use the moon recession anymore because you still get, I think we got like hundreds of millions or something. Hovind was citing 1 billion. I don't see how that wins for him to, that somehow it's only 6,000 years, other than he's trying to poke holes in dating methods or whatever. But even if you spotted him that number, let's say before modern dating methods, right? You're still not even close. So and then of course, we know the recession's not a constant. And even in the slide he used, it said at current recession rates. Current. It didn't say what recession rates were in the past. It said right on the slide. He doesn't even read the slides. He doesn't care. He's got a word or a sentence he likes. The rest of it said at current rates. So creationists, don't use the moon recession argument. It's a terrible argument. Well, it's one of the worst out there.
He reads what he wants to read out of it to confirm what he already thinks, and then stops there and doesn't read the rest. It was nice, though, to get to see his soul temporarily leave his body in extreme terror when Sparrow was trying to ask him my algebra question. I actually asked him that question on another one of his live streams on Rumble, and it was hilarious because when it came up, he couldn't even read the problem. So I totally caught him out that he's a complete liar, doesn't even know basic algebra. And she wasn't able to read the problem, so I didn't get him again. But I saw that he recognized the question, and there was a moment of "oh shit" on his face that was absolutely delicious.
Yeah, Claude said Hovind ran from some good questions, and that Hovind was allowed to set the timing. And when he got tired, I noticed that when it's about that time. Let's take some questions and answers. But to be fair to Let's Farm is trying to start up, the debate channel, and probably being, overly generous. We'll give Farm a break because, when you're trying to get people to come on, you want to seem to be, overly fair, right?
Oh yeah, and Hovind's an eel who has 30 years of practice wriggling. So I don't hold it against Let's Farm at all. But yeah, Claude is right. The moderator
and they just started
the question.
Yeah, they just got started. You know what I mean? So all of us know there's all kind of bugs you're going to work out as you go along. So, but please do support Let's Farm over there at Let's Debate so that you can get more debates going and things will get better. All right.
But I just want to explain it for the audience a little bit, because it's a great question, because it looks super complicated, but it's actually ridiculously simple. The question is, tell me what this is, and the equation can be stated as just a squared plus b squared squared. And it's a great question because actually it's very simple, and there's several correct answers that somebody could give based on their level of math literacy. You could, for instance, just say, that's a polynomial. You could say, that's an exponential polynomial. That's an exponential parenthetical binomial. You could actually try and, expand or solve the problem and say, well, that's a squared plus b squared times a squared plus b squared. The fun thing about math is that technically every question has an infinite number of correct answers, because there's not just infinite numbers, there's infinite ways of stating every number mathematically. But Kent doesn't fucking know any of that because he's not actually a math teacher.
Mike, the links for both the debates are in the description.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And anybody else too. Yeah, if you want to see the debates, both the links are in the description. And Austin had it on his channel, so you can go down there and click on that and subscribe at Austin and all that good stuff. And the new Let's Debate channel, where Joe and Hovind were, is also linked. And click on that Let's Debate, subscribe, and let's help them out and everything. And hopefully, there'll be more debates to come, and all that kind of good stuff. And that's what we like. We like to have the community coming together and having these discussions with the other communities. So if you want that, the best way to get that is to support channels that are trying to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad that I ended up debating Katrina and Joe ended up debating Kent, because Joe is capable of having a level of patience with Kent that I am no longer capable of sustaining. He just gets my collar right up. But
that's because you don't have the Holy Spirit, Austin.
Yeah, where's that spirit?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, how you doing? Good to see you. And Native Atheist. Oh, yeah, I saw you didn't. That's right. I told you where the link was. My bad. But hey, it's always good to see you anyways, Native.
Yeah, I knew I was going to watch Joe's performance, so I had to give myself something to blunt my nerves first.
And once again, us old timers talk about it. It's so hard to listen to Hovind because he says the same things almost word for word. It's just it just great. As soon as he starts the sentence, you're like, oh no, I've heard this so many times already, and it just gets it just starts grating on your nerves.
There are parts of my gray matter that will forever belong to. You've never seen a cow give birth to a non-cow. You've never seen a cow give birth to a cow, non-cow.
And I'm guessing all cars got lug nuts on them.
Yeah.
Oh, every time he starts to talk about a car, I'm like, yeah, I've seen the vehicles at DAL that y'all can't fix. Don't get nowhere near a car.
Any time he brings up a non-biological object as if the analogy about this object he's about to make can somehow be applied to living things, it makes me want to put my head through a wall. Every time he's like, if you find a watch in the woods, you don't assume that it just made itself. You assume it had a creator. I've never seen two watches do the sex and make a baby. It's like such a bizarre line of argument, and I don't know how he can't get how ridiculous it looks. He's been told 100 times. Erica told him to his face, cars don't have sex, Kent. It's bizarre. He does. There's so many of these that it's like, why do you keep saying these things? And I think it's because he has no other option.
I've said it before too. Please stop using the car analogies and stuff like that. They're not applicable. Yeah, like you said. And I get a little snarky. Somebody needs to teach you the birds and the bees, because I don't think you got that talk. Okay. If you think cars are humping in a garage or something, no, they're not.
It's like how he's been told 500 million times that he has the wrong definition for the word science. I really think what people need to start doing is just saying, Kent, if you're using that word to mean anything other than this, we're not talking about the same thing.
They all do it, Austin.
Don't try to get him to change his definition. Just tell him point blank, if you're not using this definition, we ain't talking about the same thing. I'm talking about science. You're talking about some other shit you made up from SpongeBob fantasy imagination.
All the creationists like to use that tactic of saying science just means knowledge, in the, what is it, Greek or Latin or whatever it is. It's like, I don't give a crap. It's the same thing when they ask you, what is a woman? And it's like, well, if you open up like the Oxford or something like that, there's at least 100 definitions for a woman. I mean, it used to mean a maid. It used to mean, this and that. And it's like, wow, it's almost like these words have all these different, applications over these years for many different things, not just, anywhere near what the original word was. And again, the science thing, oh, well, it means knowledge in Greek or whatever. It's like, I don't give a crap. That's like, what does my last name mean, and when I look it up in a book, oh, it means this and that. Oh, who gives a crap, right? It's just where the word comes from.
It seems almost borderline pre-operational. Like how a baby won't understand that the circle peg won't go into the square hole. They just over and over again. No matter how many times you tell Hovind, it's not the definition of that word. He's not capable of willingly unlearning something that is so important to him. And I know that creationists will say the same thing about me.
This is what Joe was telling Hovind was, science, it has a definition, and it encompasses a lot of things. It's not just knowledge. It's like, well, I have knowledge of how to tie my shoes. It doesn't make it science. It doesn't give me a degree. It doesn't make a theory or anything. It's just so simplistic. It really doesn't mean anything. It's just knowledge. Okay, well, I can tell you my phone number. That's knowledge, right? Who cares? It's not applicable to the huge body that is the scientific, wealth of knowledge and trial and error. And like I often tell people, a lot of scientists were proven wrong. And I think you said it too, Austin. The big thing about science is not only proving others wrong, but proving yourself wrong. Because if you can't prove it wrong, that's a good sign that you might be onto something.
It's just how the philosophy of science works. And it's what makes science better than a random ass guess.
So Katrina served in Afghanistan in 2011. Did you know
I
that?
knew she was an Army vet, and that too made me want to, for sure, be very respectful of her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once again, we try not to make things personal. And I think you agree not to make things personal. And you know what? Maybe she'll take a look at Richard Dawkins' book or something and change her mind, right? We can be...
take more than that.
It does. Well, you know what I mean. It happens. So we don't want to say that she's not smart or anything. We're trying to figure out why she believes these things.
Why she believes what she believes.
Yeah, my idea on it is always that it has to do with something religious. It's so deep seated that you have to ask yourself, well, if I'm going to believe this Jesus thing, then am I going to believe the magic zoo boat, Adam and Eve, and all this? You have to start rejecting the fossil record, genetics, anthropology, on down, down the list, all those fields of science, because otherwise you're just taking, Jesus, but the rest of the Bible isn't true. And I think that's what they face, is that, okay, well, if I'm going to accept Jesus, it looks like I have to start accepting some of this other stuff. And then when you start looking that up, what do you get? You get hit with either young or old earth creationism. And then one of their arguments convinces you, and you start dismissing fields of science.
Yeah. I want to say two things real quick. One, this could just be wishful thinking, but I think a couple times during the debate, I saw some screws and gears turning in her head. Maybe she will not become or get rid of creationism, but she might like go more theistic or old earth evolution, especially if somebody like really sues the theological issues for her. And that the second point is that, yeah, we can't forget that the theological issues are the main thing. It's not that there isn't a perfectly reasonable and, in fact, overwhelming, comprehensive logos that should be more than sufficient to convince anybody who's rational. But we're not taught. It's not. I'm not saying she's not rational, but the specific mindset is not rational, and it's especially prone to manipulation and being misled.
She said the Bible.
If you were to do a Gaussian distribution of mindsets, you might think that the most strident mindset is the least vulnerable to being manipulated and misled, and that the least strident mindset would be the most vulnerable to being manipulated and misled. But in fact, it's actually the middle of the Gaussian, the bell curve, that is the most resistant to being manipulated and misled. The least strident side of the spectrum is vulnerable to being manipulated and misled because they'll believe anything. If you just sound convincing, these are the people who think Kent Hovind has some good points because he puts the word doctor in front of his name, even though he hasn't heard that at all. The people on the right side, on the most strident side of the spectrum, they're more manipulable because they are too stubborn to willingly unlearn things that are important to them personally, which you need to be able to willingly unlearn things to avoid being manipulated and misled. So it's the people that are right in the middle, that are a good mix of, strident, like I need evidence, but I'm willing to unlearn something if you give me good evidence.
Hey, I got a message from Joe. He said, yeah, his internet was dropping on him, which I figured it was.
Yeah.
Real quick, just to talk about it, and then we can get back to the anything you want to look at in the video or whatever. Anybody that's seen a Hovind debate, you've seen one, you've seen them all. It is frustrating talking to him because you know exactly what he's going to say, and that's exactly what he says. And and then he likes to pull this little thing about, lately that, oh, well, as soon as he gets cornered or whatever, I've had enough. Or I don't want to talk to these people anymore or whatever. Yeah, he's very, very dominating. He used to like to just go and go and go for hours and hours, and he doesn't seem to like to do that anymore. He throws in his things. He's constantly looking at his computer, trying to pull up his little slides that are usually very silly, and pulling up his chart. This chart that they got this chart they're showing the kids in schools, and it's like, there's a reason they show the kids the stuff in schools, right? And you're I don't want my taxpayers paying for this nonsense as well. The taxpayers pay for kids to go to school. There's not an allotment to teach or not teach a certain couple chapters in a book that you don't like is going to change your tax rate somehow. It's just totally ridiculous. And yeah, we have to give it to Joe for tolerating Hovind because he is intolerable. And Joe's Joe's We'll hear back from Joe. We'll hear from Joe another time.
I do believe
we have
that
to talk about Hovind.
I'll say one last thing about
just
him.
mentioning it. Yeah,
I do believe that someday, with a lot of therapy, he will get over his bizarre aversion to visual representations of data. I don't know what his issue is with them, what he can't figure out about it, but he really is upset by them. It's bizarre to me.
Skeptic Philosophy stopping in. Hello, and Michael as well. Good to see you. And hey, we got the other John in here.
And
Good evening, John.
We can stop talking about Hovind now, because I just remembered a huge point about this debate that me and Katrina had. What the heck was with her answer to the subject question? That is not the answer she has given me before when we've spoken. So when I asked her the question about whether or not the hypothetical population would speciate, in the past she has said, yes, they won't look the same after 500,000 generations, and they won't be interfertile with other populations. I think she specifically changed her answer to try and throw things off, but it's a terrible technique, because it basically contradicts all observations like experimental evolution or artificial selection. Like, we can visibly see the changes in morphology in an organism after, just even 100,000 generations, 1/5 the number of generations. They for sure are not going to look the same, and they're not going to be interfertile with other populations that haven't been subjected to the same changes in environment. At best, they'll be able to make infertile hybrids. That's assuming that they'll even select each other for attempted mating. It was so weird. I don't know why she changed her answer like that. It didn't make sense to me. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about?
Well, no, because you talked to her before, so I don't know what she had said before, but she's basically said there would be small changes, but not enough to change and them from reproducing.
It was bizarre.
Forever and ever and ever. Yeah. I did get a couple screenshots.
Yeah.
So she said it would be the same after 500,000 generations?
Yes, she said they would look exactly the same, and totally interfertile with other populations that weren't subjected to the same.
Yeah.
I couldn't make sense of it.
I mean, that wouldn't happen even if the phenotype was identical, was the same, right? Just the way chromosomes shuffle around and mutations happen and viruses insert themselves, there's no way that those two species could mate after being separated for, I think, even around 5,000, maybe 10,000 generations.
Drosophila melanogaster, that one, they were basically full-on sexually separated by 30,000 generations in some of the iterations of the dian-dot incipient sexual separation.
See, that was in the lab.
Yeah.
Apparently that cancels reality.
Yeah.
Well, here's the screenshot I got of the first part of it. Of course, the power went out, and we didn't get the rest.
Slideshow up. I have the
you got the slideshow
up, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah. Where am I? Oh,
I don't know. Where are you? Wait a minute.
Where the hell did I go? Where did I go?
I gotta do this.
Oh, there I am. Okay.
There you are. Okay.
So there's a slideshow. So, okay. So that's the first page, right? And then here's the second page. Okay. So, the second page. Well, let's look at the page. Okay, there's the third. There's the fourth. Okay, this is the one that we never saw, right? Oh,
we saw this one, and then I don't think.
Okay, we didn't see this one.
This is where we didn't get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. So she's got quite a bit here that she didn't show.
She did a good job on this presentation.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff here. Holy shit! I mean, it keeps going on. It's then summary is on.
Theology rule a little bit, but I was being really, lenient with it.
It's all that he had made, and it was very good. Genesis, and then references. She's got references.
Yeah, this is where it kind of bites it a little bit on the references page. I was looking at that one earlier.
Were you?
Yeah.
Let's see.
She's got Sanford, Morris, Rob Carter, Jerry Bergman. She's
Wells,
got
Jonathan Wells.
Yep.
Who is J.F. Aston?
Discovery Institute.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What a list.
Creation Book Publishers.
They're all creationists. Yeah. Every single reference. Single reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
We didn't have any bread, Wesley. The bread from Jesus. No, we didn't have no bread from Jesus. Around here, you know what we do with bread? We put it in a toaster because
we love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
So every reference was a creationist. every single reference was a creationist.
Yeah.
And like listening to her, she hit all the talking points that I've heard before on creationists. That's why I really, did you check your email, see if that creationist or that chromosome 2 paper's there yet? Because I need that. I need that. I need this, man. I need this for my life, for my health, for my future. I need this.
I put that in the chat. Mike's ears are going to perk up because as soon as I heard chromosome 2 fusion, it's like, uh-oh.
Oh, I need this, man. I can't tell you how much. I have been working for two months on this already. And now I have to rework everything because I found a newer genome. Oh my God. Anyway.
Hey, it's a good problem to have. When your model is so robust, you have to refine it before you even finish writing up the first refinement.
Yep, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah. You're a doomed man.
I am. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life, probably. Anyway, I actually think I'm going to because after this chromosome 2 thing, I have a whole lot of other projects I want to get into. The evolution of this fucking protein and that fucking protein. I mean, this effing protein. I should be politically correct here. Yeah, I want to. Now that we have these new genomes, oh my God, it is so wonderful. You can see the telomeres perfectly on the ends, all of it. It's just amazing. Anyway,
hey Greg, how you doing? Good to see you.
What's the name of the technique where you lay out and it looks almost like a barcode, and you compare the genes using this technique? It's something they use in criminology. Oh, I'm blanking on the name right now, and it's real basic. Come on, Mike, save me.
What the hell is that called? Barcode? Yeah, I forgot what it is too.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, the barcoding the genome. Yeah.
I saw a picture of the second chromosome with that, with the the previous 2 telomeres compared to the fusion, and it's 100%. It's
okay. Wait till you see my presentation. I've got all that. I've got drawings of everything. I have strings and pins in all of those little bands. Strings and pins, right, everywhere. So, what do we want to go over the slide, or do we want to look at a few highlights?
Whatever slide you want to look at.
It says the creation model diametrically opposed to the evolution model. I don't know about that. Off the bat, I'm kind of like, not really, because they use the level of common ancestry in most of the creation models now. That's what specific ancestry is. It's just a version of common ancestry.
Did you notice that?
Definitely.
Did you notice that she did not want to talk about the kind of the fossil that you mentioned?
No. Dipped right away from that one. I think the kind argument is the one where I most thoroughly just dismantled everything she had to the point where I was like, all right, let's move on. I wasn't even stressed about it. It's amazing at every stage of stress testing I threw it in. So
the amazing thing is that they're the ones that came up with this whole kind idea, right?
Yeah.
But they will not tell you what kind something is. They refuse.
They don't know.
If you talk to them, they have no idea. They haven't even thought it through. Well, the one guy that tried to think it through, and what the hell was his name? Todd Wood, I think. Was it Todd Wood? Yeah, I think so.
I know. He came up with this. He did a blog post about how evolution is supported by evidence and is a good framework and everything. And all the young Earth creationists started accusing him of not being a young Earth creationist, not recognizing that he is a young Earth creationist. He's just an extremely rare one that possesses some level of honesty. It was really interesting.
He wrote a book on baraminology where he went through and did a detailed analysis, and he admitted in the book to all the problems that he had, like I think with the cat kind and stuff, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I think he basically shot his own idea down in his head, and then everybody got mad at him because he started saying it out loud. Like when you start to look into kinds very carefully, it all falls apart.
You know what? Another really interesting point I just remembered. One of the questions Katrina got asked, somebody asked her, "Are jellyfish living?" And she wouldn't give that one a yes. She stumbled on that one.
I know.
I was
another
really
one.
surprised by that. I actually
And
had to jump in and steelman it for her and say that, by the biblical definition, no, but by the scientific definition, yes. And actually, that wasn't good enough for her. I was trying to help her, and she said no. I was really confused.
Yeah, I know. And Todd Wood,
Well, Tilting Windmill asked why, and I think the answer is because the Bible the only thing it says qualifies a living thing is that it breathes and it has blood, and jellyfish do neither. They don't breathe and they don't have blood. Well, that's why we have a much more precise definition for life in biology, which is, 5 things that all living organisms do. They all have some level of basic organizational structure. They all take and use materials. They all respond to stimuli. They all grow and develop, and they all reproduce. And interesting, actually, the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium says the 6th thing that all living things do is they evolve. But we didn't get to that point during the debate.
Right.
Well, even bacteria don't have blood and they don't breathe. So do creationists not consider bacteria to be living things?
And I think Katrina might not consider those living things.
And plants aren't living. Plants aren't living things. Yeah.
Talk about a failure in taxonomy, right? Like the simplest taxonomic category is living things versus unliving things. That is the actual highest taxa.
And then I guess you'll appeal to the fact that Jesus never talked about bacteria.
Yeah.
He never talked about jellyfish, so therefore they don't exist or it doesn't matter.
Yeah, jellyfish not only don't have blood, Tilting Windmill, they don't have brains. Cnidarians, which is the phyla of category they exist in, they actually don't have much more than just basic tissues. They don't even really have organs. You don't start to see organs until you get into the phylum Platyhelminthes or the flatworms, which have very simplistic organs, and then organs get more complex from there, like in the phyla that we know, like Arthropoda and Chordata, which we're in. Sorry, like I said, I've been studying a lot of taxonomy lately.
This sort of reminds me of Robert Sapolsky's podcast. He has a podcast called Father and Daughter Interviews or something like that. And this week they had one where he talked about beehives and how in some beehives, at least, they don't have any kind of queen bee or whatever they have a queen bee, but the queen bee does not decide which food is the best and the closest that the worker bee should go out and get. What will happen is you'll have one worker bee from 200 yards out come in with news of a food source, and another one might come out from 100 yards away, and they'll do this little dance. And what happens is all the bees learn where the best food is based on the dance, and because the best food for some reason the dance lasts twice as long, which increases the probability of the number of bees who are going to know where the best food is. You don't need a queen bee to say, go get this food and you go get that food. They just know not from a top-down method of decision making, but through through this bottom up. And that reminds me of a lot of things in in biology where you don't need some special creation to make things develop. There are systems, there are networks that just find the best way to get the resources they need, and it doesn't require any intervention in order for that to happen.
Absolutely. Man, the conversation is just sterling over here tonight. I'm exploding with things to say. I hope I'm not like overly dominating the conversation. But Tilting Windmill,
so much.
Sydney Raptor, Dave, you just showed their comment. That is such a great point because, technically, I guess you could call Carl Linnaeus a creation scientist, but half the time when I bring up the phylogeny constructed based on his taxonomic systematic method of classifying and categorizing living things, creationists just shit all over him. It's bizarre. They don't recognize like he's one of the biggest giants whose shoulders they could stand on, and it's because they're not educated enough about the subject, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What's up, Sandals? Good to see you.
Somebody else made
a
another
big ass and middle body is male, but I don't think I am that fat.
Okay.
You just got a big butt and you cannot lie.
Oh, that's what it was. Mike, you posted a comment, something about how Todd Wood is the classic example of a mind divided against itself. That is perfectly stated. That is exactly what it is.
It's from Rational Wiki. They have an article forum. How is it that someone could have a graduate biology degree yet believe in yak? And it says Kurt Wise and Todd C. Wood are excellent examples, very intelligent, know-how, and can-do science. But they have this single fixed point of belief that creationism must be true. Therefore, Brahmanology. And then it says Todd Wood is an excellent example of and slightly horrifying example of a mind divided against itself. Now, that is an interesting phenomenon, and I noticed that in Katrina, too.
Yeah.
There is this block point they have, and Bread of Life. She's another one. That now, Katrina said...
There's a psychology term for that. It's called anchoring bias.
Anchoring bias. Oh, cool. I never heard that one before.
Yep.
So
you take a data point or a viewpoint as your anchor, and then all new information gets filtered through that. So, like presuppositionalists, for instance, their entire schema is openly is based on anchoring bias, the presupposition that God exists, which they filter all logic through. It's crazy.
She said this Bible is not a science book. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if it's not a science book, then why are you using it to decide the age of the earth? Because the age of the earth came from nothing other than the Bible. There is no geologist or geological study or anything that basically came up with 6,000 years. That came from the Bible first. And then they backfilled, what they, all the hydroplate theories and all that bullshit. I mean, she said it out loud, and I'm like, okay, you said that. Why not take it to heart? Yeah. But it's not a science book. It's telling you God created the world. That's what it's telling you. And how God did it. It doesn't tell you. That
maybe a good question to ask her if we have any future debates might be something like, do you think the Bible says anything about bacteria? Like, it obviously doesn't overtly use that word, but like, are bacteria living things? They don't breathe, they don't bleed. Like, and if the Bible doesn't rule on that, is that maybe an indication that God wants us to figure it out ourselves and doesn't really care what we think one way or another? I don't know. I think that could be an interesting line of questioning.
It's like the whole point of Genesis was not to tell you exactly how God created the world. It was to give you a moral story, right? Yes. That's what it was about. And they missed the point of that. Yeah.
Well, that's how I understand it. That Genesis it's an overview. It's just saying, where did everything come from? God did it. God made this, and God made that, and it wasn't meant to be scientific in any way, shape, or form. It's just a long poetic version of, well, God did it, Bobby. That's why there's a tree in your yard. That's it.
I think
It's
it's a lot
also
more than
about
that.
why do people hate snakes and vice versa? Why are there people, why do people speak different languages? It's just basically legend and myth that's just going to be kind of cobbled together by people who wanted it to teach an additional story or an additional truth. So you have all these elements of previous myths and legends just being kind of sewn together. Individually, they served a purpose, and they were sewn together to serve a slightly different purpose.
It's what I would call
our guy for tomorrow. Hold on, Austin, real quick. Sure. Our guy for tomorrow, Scott, says the exact opposite. He says that everybody else ripped off Christian stories. So there's a preview for you.
Yeah, oh boy.
Go ahead, Austin.
I was just going to say it's what I would call an explanatory myth, right? It's like Scott was saying, a big part of it is about how precipitation is caused by heavenly gates set in a dome over the earth. I think most creationists realize that's not the physical reality, except maybe Kent Hovind. I've heard him make claims about some kind of ice dome thing. That makes no sense to me.
But
yeah,
the thing is,
Genesis is dome. Go ahead, Mike.
Ready?
Go ahead,
okay,
Mike.
Genesis is about a lot more than that. It's about the nature of man, basically. Yeah. And I think the person or persons that wrote it were trying to make a point, which is really important, that somewhere on the line of our evolution, we came up with this rather powerful brain that could look to the future and realize that we could die. And that was the invention of death. And it also came up with these moral quandaries and moral decisions. And that was the invention of sin. And that was the true fall of man. When we developed a brain that was powerful enough that we could start thinking about all this stuff and talking about it and making decisions based on it. And I think that is the true meaning of Genesis. And I think that's a really important thing to note about humankind, right? We are different because of this brain we have that allows us to project, to plan, to make all these moral decisions. Whereas an animal will just pretty much react in the moment, or another animal will, other than us. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think one of the main things about literature is that there is no one correct way there's a million different ways to interpret any poem or piece of writing. The problem with religion is that it turns it into like this concrete war between forms of literary analysis that they call exegeses, where they'll fucking kill each other over you interpret this book different than
me. It only does that if they insist on some literal, reasoned out version of it, right? If they just look to the message, to the metaphor, to the message, they wouldn't be fighting about all these details, right? Yeah. So they have these it's about thinking too much is what it is, and reading a little too much into the text, basically, based on what you're thinking about. Well, if they just let it go and look at the true meaning of it, I think it would be a beautiful book, or a beautiful idea. But anyway, they missed the point.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've said before, that art, including literature and music and everything, it's a personal thing, right? Yeah, two people can read the same book and get something else from it. And then when now you're trying to say, you have to follow this book as I read it, as whoever, the pastor or the bishop or whoever is the leader, setting up this idea that you have to read this book like I'm reading it. And I think that Austin was leaning that that's where the problem comes in, right? Yeah. Because you can't do that. You're supposed to read it for yourself. That's the idea of reading it. And if things, there's a lot of books that hit people, in the heart, so to speak, or whatever, right? Very emotional and all this. It doesn't have to be a religious text, but when you add in that it's supposed to be this, holy book or something, yeah. So that great feeling you're getting from, like Mike said, maybe a nice story in the Bible here, in between the not so nice ones, it can hit you very powerfully in the literary style and everything. But as we point out, if you're going to try to accept some of it, then you're stuck in the circle of, okay, well, now do I have to accept the Magic Zoo boat? Do I have to accept Adam and Eve? Do I have to accept Genesis as literal? And then you get creationists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a question.
Sydney Raptor put in the comments a while back something that I wanted to touch on just real quick, Mike. Sorry.
That's right.
It was something that came up in the debate, is why I want to mention it. I got to mention that Carl Linnaeus had struggles taxonomizing humans because he couldn't find a way to classify them where they didn't just fit in with other apes.
Yep. That's what I have a question about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Linnaeus put humans in with the great apes.
Yeah. The question I have, okay, God created us in his image, right? Okay, so why did God, for the primates, particularly the chimpanzees, use the exact same chromosome structure, except for chromosome 2, where the genes line up one for one from one chromosome to the other? If you want to find a particular, like Wnt1 chromosome in humans, it'll be on the same damn chromosome in the same place as it is in chimps. So why did God decide to make chimps in his image?
But didn't this brilliant scientist named Casey Luskin write a paper that said, no, that's not true, that's not true. They hid this data, but it's actually only like 85%.
They buried it under the Smithsonian with the giant skeletons. Hey, we got Stop the Stupidity here, dropping green, giving out a free captive desk membership. And that goes out to the Mighty Filbert. So the Mighty Filbert can join in on the emoji fun. And like I just said earlier, I have the video rendered and in my little thing I do in DaVinci. It's ready to go. So I'm going to I want to do a member stream before the month is out. So coming up very soon here, we will get the member stream out for this month, and it's going to be part 2 of the one we covered in part 1. So if you thought that was pretty bad and a terrible misunderstanding of science, you're in for a treat because I got more. And Stop the Stupidity.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on till the skies, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Yeah, Stop the Stupidity. You rock. Thanks for supporting the channel. And hey, we got it going on here. We've got Left-Handed Jedi dropping the green, gifting 10 captive desk memberships. And Left-Handed Jedi, I mean, you rock.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on till the skies, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
And we are going out to Ryan Murphy, Simos, the Trusty Ape, Autistic Septuagenarian, You Are Victoria, Vesta Freya,
Yep.
Commander
Been around
Ali,
for a long time.
Elbows Up Ali, John Hudson, Ways to Human, AJ's at NanoCon. I saw her post there earlier. And let's see.
I never get one.
Absolutely
Brent,
excellent aim.
Pragmatic Crystal. We've got a whole bunch of them that just got some great thing. And to throw one more in there, we had let's see, we got Stop the Stupidity dropping green as well with another Captive Desk membership. And you know what? You all rock. You really do. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. And here you are one more time.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the skies, to the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Appreciate the support, everybody. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Saturday night at the Atheist, 5 p.m. Eastern. And we have, I think it's Pastor John queued up. And yeah, he's got some interesting takes on atheism. So we ought to have a good night and have a good time at Saturday night at the Atheist, as we often try to do. A Pragmatic Crystal, hello. Dropping the alien emoji. And the ape dropping a bunch of emojis. There you go. Let me see what was on the Casey here. Casey Luskin only wrote blog articles. He has conflated sequence alignment comparisons with full genome comparisons and protein coding gene comparisons. Yeah, I think Professor Dave was really brutal on Casey Luskin, wasn't he?
Deservedly so. What Luskin did was borderline criminal. And I'm not being hyperbolic. It is actually illegal for him to manipulate and edit the data in that paper and then publish it without informing people that he edited and manipulated it, which is exactly what he did. So I wouldn't be surprised if some legal action comes of this.
Yeah, Jedi, that was a good hit. Appreciate it very much. A lot of great folks getting the memberships there. Again, appreciate it very much. Mike's checking his email.
Mike,
And yeah, the Fox is in here.
Email once a week.
Yeah.
Just don't expect anything very soon.
Zeravok is dropping in. Hello, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, we've been talking about debate night. Mike's dropped out. We gotta we can click this thing off of here. We can go back to up here. And we got Austin Sims himself dropping 5 Captive Desk memberships. Austin,
we ought to keep it going.
You rock as well, and you know what that means.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the skies, to the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
And Austin did really well too. We got the Fox, or yeah, wait a minute, we got Viclet. Hello, Fox. We got Viclet, Antjer, Pixie Storms, and Ducks Y. Free memberships, compliments of Austin Sims. And Austin, appreciate it very much. You rock. Wait a minute, I ain't got my thing on. You rock. And I see you appreciate the music, so I do like some rockin' music, and we've got some for tomorrow. Somebody very special to me is having a birthday tomorrow, so there will be a birthday video. And I'm pretty sure Jedi was here the other night. Jedi got a personal song from me because I didn't have a video ready for Jedi, so I sang "Happy Birthday" to Jedi. So, I mean, personal touch, right? So,
yeah, happy birthday, Jedi.
Yeah, if I get the notice, I will drop a birthday song and stop the stupidity. Look at that, 3 months of membership. It seems like I just got the memberships and everything, and 3 months. Wow, that is really cool. And of course, Stop the Stupidity is a great supporter of the channel. Appreciate you very much. I really do.
Yeah, there's a fellow in the chat, Top G. You know what, Top G? I'm a huge Einstein fan. I love Einstein. I have a painting of Einstein hanging up in my living room. I'm not at my house right now, otherwise I'd show it to you. One of the things you learn when you love Einstein is that it can be difficult to separate the man from the myth. There's a lot of misinformation and made-up stories out there about Einstein.
Oh no, is Top G Kafai?
I don't think so.
I know.
I don't know.
Kafai is Kafai.
Einstein and Spinoza. Einstein and Spinoza are Kafai's big men. They're insist that they're both believers somehow.
I guess
Anyway.
Spinoza had a conception of God that kind of indicated that he was a believer, but not like a believer in a Christian deity.
No, it was a belief in the cosmos, basically.
Yeah.
But Kafai likes to twist that around and turn it into some sort of an argument for a god. But
I do know that Top G is something that Andrew Tate likes to call himself. And Andrew Tate is just a terrible human being. He's one of those
yes,
toxic dude bro influencer types. That's what he is on the surface, but underneath it, he's actually a human trafficker. He is a sex slave.
Didn't he get arrested?
Yes, he is a sex slave dealer who uses something called the lover boy strategy. And it's not shocking that he got arrested because he openly talks about that on his website, about seducing girls and tricking them into giving them his passport so that he can then exploit them for sex work. Yeah, he's just a fucking awful human being. I'm trying not to use too many curse words, but there's definitely that one's definitely
you gotta use it. Yeah. Yep.
So I'm immediately suspicious of anybody who calls themselves that.
Sandals reminds everybody Einstein married his cousin and also had multiple 3 hours sleeps in a day, but I kind of think we should not, or he should have. I don't know about the cousin thing. As far as the sleeping thing goes, there's these things that have come out that said, that it's, they've pushed this, you need, a full night's sleep, but then they're talking more that, that's not really natural. It's more natural for us to sleep for a couple hours, get up for a little bit, sleep for a couple hours, so there might be something to, sleeping in little things like that. Yeah. I've heard about a lot of people, that, they don't, Chris from the damn network in the morning. Yeah, he goes to sleep for a couple hours. He's up first thing in the morning. He does all kind of stuff, and then he takes a little nap during the day, and then he gets back up and does some more of his thing. It's kind of like they break up their sleep.
Okay, I was talking to my doctor yesterday about that and asking him if there's a problem because I take 4 or 5 naps a day and go down for an hour. And then I sleep probably 3 or 4 hours at night, and I was worried about it, but I never heard. I don't know. I'm just wondering what the hell's wrong with me because all of a sudden I become narcoleptic and I have to go down, and I take a really powerful, strong 1 hour or 2 hour nap. Then I get up and I go back to work for a couple hours, and then boom, I'm out again, and I'm wondering. Do I have a brain tumor?
Well,
so generally, most people
do a test here. do a test here and don't do any studying of chromosomes or DNA or genomes for like a month.
Okay. I
I'll
was
bet
going to
your
do
sleep
that.
pattern gets a little better.
So it
I was
is
gonna take a
true
day
that
off.
the brain takes up a buttload of the body's energy. It's actually kind of amazing that it evolved because it is so energy inefficient.
Yeah, like 3/4 of the glucose, I think. But anyway, I can't sleep anymore until I get that chromosome 2 paper from Katrina. So
I'll have to tell her you're suffering. I'll really
I'm suffering.
play the sympathy up.
And then after I do the presentation with Dr. Dan on August 13th, I would like to debate Katrina on chromosome 2.
I'll put her in touch with you if you want.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about chromosome 2. I kind of know that it comes after chromosome 1 and before chromosome 3, but that's all I know. So, I mean, it might be fun for her. I might learn something. I don't know. I don't know much
I think
about
there's
it.
a blown fuse in there somewhere too, because I keep hearing the word fuse, having to do with chromosome 2.
Fuse. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Yeah,
it might
there's
be
a
an
blown fuse.
electrical problem.
That's why I take so many naps.
Was there anything else in the slideshow you wanted to look at there, Mike?
Well, we haven't really looked at anything, have we?
No.
Or the video?
Well, there were all the parts there were the parts that she didn't show us.
Yeah.
Okay, no evolutionary. Okay, showed us that part, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did this combination.
Yeah.
And then what is this one? Okay, the complexity of life. The complete human genome consists of two sets of one. 3 billion individual molecules. What? No, not individual molecules. What did she say? Okay, is that a typo?
I'm having trouble deciphering that one too, Mike.
Is that a typo or
a DNA molecule? Isn't the DNA an entire molecule? I don't know. I could be wrong. I just saw it.
There's 23 DNA molecules. There's not billions of them.
I think maybe she's talking about the base pairs.
I know, but she says individual molecules, and it's pretty bright.
Yeah, she's talking about the
molecules of nucleotides is the whole phrase.
I don't know. I don't think she knows a lot about genetics, but I'm not sure.
So the nucleotide is the monomer in the polymer of DNA. DNA is a polymer made up of several nucleotide macromolecule monomers. She's talking about that. I think what she's saying basically is that there's 3 billion sets of base pairs in the human genome.
But nobody would write that out loud.
She's written it in an odd way. Is that accurate too? Can somebody search up real quick if there is 3 billion?
No, it isn't accurate. No, there isn't. There's 23.
I was going to say that number
46.
No, that's the number of chromosomes. We're talking about the number of base pairs.
3.2 billion base pairs.
Okay.
Or 3.3 billion in the latest one. Yeah. But that's just base pairs. Okay. There's 43 molecules in each cell, and they're arranged in chromatin territories. But they're each a full molecule, and anybody that knows anything about genetics would not write that way. That's what I'm concerned about. So but I know she knows all about chromosome 2, though. Anyway,
I don't know
which is one molecule.
Say a complete human genome consists of 3.2 billion base pairs. That's a lot clearer, and it's a lot
That's
more
what
accurate.
you should say.
Yeah,
that's what you would say. Okay. The genome is full of multiple overlapping linear and instructional forms of genetic information. Yeah, it's a complicated little thing, and cells are complicated little things. So all genes in the genome have genes that regulate genes or that sense changes. Yeah, okay, so biology. Some genes actively rearrange themselves, or they modify and methylate other. Okay, actively rearrange. She's talking about transposons?
Or inversions?
I don't know. Each human body contains around, I think females contain around 27 trillion and males about 35 trillion.
Yeah,
100.
it's a lot
Each
of
cell
cells.
is complete.
It's a high number.
Okay. A lot of cells, yeah. Okay, so anyway, well, we can leave that behind. So okay, so it's complicated. The interdependent parts do not function unless other parts. Okay, irreducible complexity.
Yeah, we went over
And
that.
did you hear her? Did you hear her answer to my liver thing? She said we die without a liver. Duh.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not what I said. I said that basically the liver works from the very get-go, right?
Yeah.
From the point where there were a bundle of capillaries that were wrapped around the digestive system. And that's how the liver got started. All it was a bundle of capillaries and a few cells around that wrapped around the capillaries, and they started to do like maybe one function. And then after a while, it was more like, hundreds or thousands of functions after it developed. But the liver, from the very get-go, from the very simplest liver, and we have examples of very simple livers in extant species today, the liver works no matter how complicated it is. And ours, of course, is very complicated. So
it was tough
anyway.
to get her to really commit to claiming anything specifically was irreducibly complex. She gave me the definition of irreducible complexity like 3 times, and I kept pushing like, one time she gave me the definition by using the example that if you take a human's heart out, they won't survive. To which I responded, okay, so is the circulatory system a good example of something that's irreducibly complex? Hoping that she would say yes. And then I could point out that almost literally every plant on the planet has a circulatory system without a heart that works just fine. But I think she anticipated that and pivoted to saying the entire human is irreducibly complex, which is a really odd thing to say, and I don't think accurate either.
You can remove my appendix and I still live.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and this I noticed her saying that also. Well, she thinks organisms come fully formed as is.
Yeah.
And and I noticed her saying that it wouldn't make any sense for something to be waiting around for things to develop. And that goes back to the video with Richard Dawkins. That's like the dumbest question he was ever asked or something, where the guy said, how do we survive for 1 million years while we were waiting for our bladder and our junk to form so we could take take a whiz? So he literally thinks humans couldn't pee for 1 million years or whatever, whatever the year was, until the bladder and the urethra and all that developed to get it out of you. I noticed her saying that, and that is, that's got to be one of the worst understandings of anything to do with evolution that you could possibly have. And tilting windmills in here, dropping green, giving 5 captive desk memberships. And tilting windmill, you're much appreciated. All the work you do around here, doing all that great mod, dropping links, helping all around, and you're dropping 5 captive desk memberships. So I mean, you need a double dose.
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
You need a double dose. And you know what else?
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on till the skies, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
And tilting windmill gifting the memberships to Ozark Oracle, Clockwork Rex. I was talking to Rex earlier. Carrie Ann, Atheist Carpenter, and the John Fabiano. Those are all good ones.
I never get one. Never get one. Okay, this last part, non-functioning essential components are detrimental to society or to survival. What the? I mean, it's like she's obfuscating the survival of an individual as opposed to our entire ancestry, right? So she's that's not the word I wanted, and I can't think of the word. But anyway, she's what the hell word am I thinking of? Basically, this doesn't make any damn sense, and she said this a number of times, and that was her answer to my liver thing. That human, oh, you couldn't survive without a liver. Yeah, me as an individual, but not my entire ancestry, not the entire line I came from, right? So I mean, she keeps doing that, and it's like, what the hell? I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway.
As it pertains to the thing she said about if you take a human's heart out, they won't survive. With the right chart, I could tell you around when the last ancestor without a heart that we had was, according to our current model. But it was hundreds of millions of years ago. It wasn't like a recent ancestor developed a heart. It's bizarre. It's like, yeah. It's so illogical.
Perhaps we're having a poor understanding of evolutionary theory. Could it be? Could it be that there's a poor understanding of evolutionary theory there?
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I've tried to explain this before, and that's my understanding. Sydney just put it up, so I wanted to address this. It says you have to have turned on the function to receive gift membership. So if you've never gotten a gift membership, you want to check the join button.
I cannot find out where to do that.
There should be a spot.
I see nothing
that says turn on the ability to receive gift membership. So,
and I've looked a number of times.
There's supposed to be a setting somewhere. You might want to ask your Chat GPT friend to talk you through it or something, Mike. I have seen it on mine that there is a setting to turn on to get gift memberships. So if you've never gotten one, like Mike says he's never gotten any, it could be because you do not have the yes to receive gift memberships little box checked or unchecked or whatever it is. So just so you know, that is the answer given by YouTube and Google and everything else, is that you have to have that turned on to get them. Okay.
Yep, and I don't see it anywhere. It just doesn't exist. Let's see more. Well, let's see. Members only. Learn more about perks. Nope, not there. It's just not there. I'm sorry, it's just not there. That's amazing.
You may want to check. Your in your settings in your studio or something, Mike. It might be in there.
I looked I'll ask ChatGPT.
I have seen it. I don't have it right now in front of me either, but I have seen it on mine before that this does exist. So you just have to be in the right place, and sometimes, as a lot of us have learned, it's always in the last place you look, right? So it does exist, and just a public service message for everybody else, just so you know. Yeah, if you aren't getting gift memberships, there is a setting in there to turn it on and off. Okay.
Yeah, sure there is. Yeah, I believe you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been quite a few times where I said, hey, how do you do something? And you look it up and it says, click this, turn this on or off. And it's like, okay. And I go in there and no such things exist. They don't exist. They're not anywhere.
Where's the special promo icon? Where's that at? What is that?
I don't know.
Icon. Click the join button and click that. Oh, a 3-dot menu. I got it. I think I know what's happening. I hate user interfaces that suck like this.
It says try the memberships tabs, then the hamburger.
There it is, the hamburger. Okay,
with the gift membership setting.
Gift membership setting. I found it. Oh my God.
All right. Turn it on.
Okay, now, well, thank you guys. Finally. Okay.
Okay,
it's a
see,
little-
it is there.
The little
Where's it
three dot.
located again? Where's it located?
It's on the 3-dot menu that's way at the top when you hit the join button. That little tiny 3-dot menu where they hide the most important fucking
Okay.
shit in the world. It's like
All
that.
right.
Okay, if like my heart stops and they come with the EMT comes with the basically to shock my heart, and they have to click the 3-dot menu and search for it. That's where it is.
Yeah, that's Sydney's dropping it, the 2. Yep. Okay, so everybody remember now, if anybody asks, it is there, but you got to click that tiny little 3-dot thing up in there to pull up the drop down, and there it is. And then you can now get gift membership. So all we need now is for somebody to gift memberships, and hopefully Mike gets one, because I know Mike's
I've been waiting.
Waiting. So
Okay,
we'll see if we
DNA
can't-
cannot exist.
we'll see if we can't help it out here. Hold on a second.
DNA cannot exist outside of a living cell. Yes, it can. You can take a bunch of cells and you can basically extract
Let's see.
DNA.
All right, by the power of Bigfoot.
You got it.
Look
You
at
were the
that.
first one.
Look at that. Look at
Me?
that.
Me?
Yo,
You are the
really?
first one.
Atheism received
Answers
a
in
gift
Atheism
membership.
received a gift membership by
Let's
Captive Desk. So did
Wow.
Andrew,
So
Oceanus, Let's Farm. Oh, cool. Let's Farm. We were just doing the debate earlier, talking about Let's Farm. And Andrew got one too. Man, I made a great hit.
I think
So,
Don,
all right.
I think Mike got his gift membership because Dave has enable whiners to get gift memberships.
I've had enough. And
look what I did. Look what I did. I did toast.
I hope y'all enjoy the gift memberships and the emojis, and like I say, a member stream is coming soon, and you also get early access to any of my videos I put out. I put them out 24 hours in advance for the members to see them first.
My life
And
is
Mike-
almost complete now. If I just had that chromosome 2 paper, it would be
You drop
complete.
that.
I
There
knew
it
you
is.
were going to bring it up. I am doing my best, okay?
There it is, Mike.
I almost
Mike's got
couldn't
the he's got the answers in atheism toast emojis going on.
Oh
Finally-
my god! I can't believe
Finally, there you go.
it.
All right.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah, that's great. Maybe I will sleep tonight.
And I'll spare the rock, but because I know I rock, but you know what I do like.
We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast. We love toast.
And I hope everybody's
I need
enjoying
toast.
their toast as well.
Fred Harvey swinging through in the chat. He says, "Oh, I missed it all. Stupid internet. What did I miss?" Hovind said
Everything.
lots of stupid things. Right,
Secret of life.
Fred.
Yeah,
You missed.
Good news. You can go back and go watch all the videos right now. Watch them on like 4 times speed. You should get through the Hovind one pretty fast because you've heard all the things he had to say before. If you want to listen to Joe's parts, he did a great job. And then go onto my channel and watch my debate with Katrina Cook. She said some kind of stupid things, but she's way more of a sweetheart than Kent Hovind. So we've been a little bit nicer about picking some of her arguments apart. But yeah, go back, go and watch all that stuff.
And
like
you
and subscribe
go down
and
the
comment on it.
description.
and
go down the
go to your-
description.
Yeah.
Links are in the description. Take you right to both the debates that went on this evening.
Yep, go over to your family's house and wake them up in the middle of the night and say, "Hey, watch this YouTube video. This is great."
Yeah, you know what they really missed was we're all young Earth creationists now, all of us. So we converted. We saw the light finally. We realized that all those fossils were just the artist's preference. That's all it was.
That was a very
And they misled
Hovind
us.
line, and I really bit my tongue on that one.
You know, I just
could see you
wonder
doing it.
how many of those people that work at museums just chipping away at these fossils and putting them together, making sure that this particular piece is shaped just right to conform to the ball, to the socket, the tooth, to the to the slot in the jaw where it goes. And they hear something like that, and they go, "What the hell?" Because they work so hard to get these things right, But no, they're just wishing it into existence.
Unlike creationists who are totally unbiased when they start looking at the evidence, they go in with a clean slate,
creationist in my life.
No assumptions.
That's what they told me.
It's just lines on paper, as a Hawaiian shirt guy would say.
Yeah.
Ignore the libraries full of experiments and fossils and all that goes on. It's just a line on paper. They just made up this line on paper.
Yeah.
And well, of course, because you're showing a chart that's got a line on it. But as these more advanced programs will show up, as you keep zooming in and zooming in and zooming in on this supposed just line, it gets bigger and bigger, and it gets more names and more branches, and it's very detailed when you use a proper program. I don't remember the name of it offhand, but
One Zoom Tree of Life Explorer.
Thank you.
Tree of Life Explorer. It's phenomenal.
I think it was Bree was playing with it, and I think we were on with Mike the one time. We were playing with it a little bit. It's really neat. You can keep zooming in and zooming in and zooming in. And yeah, there's a lot more information on that little line when you have the proper information and you're not just using your laminated chart saying, there's the lines on paper.
And the great thing is, I think whoever made that knows about Kent Hovind and anticipated that he would say something about, well, you don't know any of this. So they didn't put any fossil species in. It's all extant organisms. So it's 100% accurate.
Sydney's looking for a dinosaur. I think I got a cockroach in front of you, but I will put it on the list.
Dinosaur emoji would be good. So in the next slide,
I'll have to check what the count is, and of course, memberships are appreciated because the more memberships we have, the more emojis we have. So if you'd like more emojis, I'm not saying you got to kick in. I'm just saying, when we get more members, we will get more emojis. Okay, I put them out as soon as the slots open up, and I will announce it and put it in the community tab when new emojis drop.
If you don't already have ape emoji or an ape emoji on the list, go ahead and add it because I want one.
Okay.
So make me big again, Dave. Make me big.
Yes. Genetic.
That's what Donald Trump wished for in the latest South Park episode. Make me big.
I love you, Satan.
Yeah. Oh God. That is a wonderful thing that Paramount did. And everyone should sign up for Paramount for just a month.
Yeah, they went back to the slit head with the Canada style thing with and his head just bobbing around. Oh man, hilarious.
Oh, and the dick with the little eyes on it. It's like this. I mean, Donald Trump approves this message. Oh my God, Trump must just be. I want to see his tweets tonight. I've got to see him.
Extra blood pressure medicine. Them hamburgers are gonna revolt.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so she says evolution model prediction: mutations are beneficial and generate a vertical change upward toward higher degrees of order. Creation model prediction: if there are real mutations causing vertical changes in complexity and order of the kinds, they will be harmful, not beneficial. Has anyone heard of lipoprotein A1- or A-1 Milano? The
Mike,
small town in Italy. You have?
I haven't heard of that. What the hell is that?
Oh, the creationists don't want to talk about it anymore. They used to pick on it. They said, no, it wasn't a mutation. It wasn't. But yeah, there is a small town in Italy where one of the ancestors had one arginine turn into a histidine in his cholesterol, this apolipoprotein, which helps organize the cholesterol structures that kind of clean your blood. And they found out these people were living till they're 100 years old, and they have super high cholesterol. Their cholesterol's off the charts, but they don't have any heart disease. And it was because of this one mutation. And it was a beneficial mutation. For some reason, okay, back when I first talked to Donnie Badinsky, Standing for Truth, it was a big topic in creationism about maybe 7 years ago. And then I went and showed him very carefully that it was an actual mutation that turned out to be uber beneficial. And it was just one single nucleotide change and went from arginine to histidine, right? And you got to look it up. It's called, well, let's see. Maybe I can link my chat GPT on it. Let's see. Now I can look it up on Wiki. I'll post a link, but it is a wonderful example of a very, very simple beneficial mutation. And so that is a prediction evolution made, and we found it, and we know it's there. And they figured out in detail how it works, and it creates a much better structure for cleaning your blood. In fact, they're doing a bunch of heart medication, how they're basing it on.
And what's it called again?
So, I'll put it in apolipoprotein A-1 Milano. That's the name of the town, I think, in Italy.
Apolipoprotein A-1 Milano.
Yeah, I just put it in chat, and I will try to find the wiki article on it. It's a wonderful thing. But creationists went quiet about it, and so did we. You know, when they asked, "What's your best evidence for evolution?" Well, this is a pretty goddamn good one right here. So I will post the link to the wiki article on it. It's pretty interesting. I researched that like 7 years ago, so I don't remember all of the stuff, but it is amazing how it changed the structure of the cholesterol little globules that are responsible for heart health, basically. Anyway,
that's fascinating.
Yep.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? That kind of reminds me of the fact that we're so good with applied evolution now that we can turn certain cells, often fungi, protists, or yeasts, as they're called, into little useful chemical factories. You can make them produce useful biochemicals for us. And that's part of the reason that humans now get human insulin when they have diabetes. They used to get pig insulin, which causes all kinds of problems. But now, because we understand evolution so well, we can give you a much better medicine. And this is part of the reason why it's worth butting heads with creationists, because if they had their way, the kids who learn the science that lets us do things like that wouldn't learn that science, wouldn't get that medicine, and we would still be stuck paying for a lesser product and greater money. It is dangerous and harmful. It's not always abundantly clear that it's dangerous and harmful, but it is.
Yeah. So, the next thing, experimental facts. Mutations are random, not directed. Okay, yep. Yeah. Mutations are rare, she says. No, they're not. Yeah. They're extremely common. No, 100 out of
a billion lines of code, you might end up with one mutation, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah, and that's I guess you could call that rare, but I mean, you know, we have about 100 to 130 or 30 to 130 every generation. So mutations are pretty common. Beneficial mutations are extremely rare. It depends on how
you're quantifying it.
Okay.
Tilted Windmill says 27 gifted memberships tonight. You know what? That might put us up higher than we've ever been here at the captive desk.
You might get more emojis?
I think it's like 15 or something. So, of course, it doesn't give you I just looked at it. The count hasn't changed yet. So when it goes through and changes, I think we just may have another one for tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay, the next talking point, beneficial mutations are extremely rare. How do they know? The thing is that I have like 100 mutations in me that my parents didn't have, right? And maybe in the next 10,000 or 100,000 years, any one of those mutations could lock into a gene regulatory network and become extremely beneficial. So we don't know how rare they are. And it's bullshit if you claim you do.
Also, there is a degree, there's a gradient to how beneficial a mutation is. And of course, the more beneficial are the ones that are more rare. The more beneficial it is, the rarer it is. But very subtly beneficial mutations, those are much more common.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of... Sorry.
Neutral is the most common. So neutral is the most common. The harmful mutations are wed out by natural selection almost immediately before the organism even becomes a pregnancy, before it even gets started. So neutral are the most common, and neutral mutations can be functional sometime in the future of the population. And we don't know when that is, or we have no way of measuring that because we don't know what the environment's going to do, right? So anyway, that's kind of a talking point that needs to be shut down hard.
And even more bizarrely, some mutations can be both detrimental and beneficial at the same time. One of my favorite examples is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell it hurts the person who has it, but at the same time, it is a slightly beneficial mutation because it gives them a level of inoculation to malaria.
It's interesting.
Ozark's same thing as Mike this evening. Ozark says it's the first time they've gotten a gifted membership, and thanks to Tilting Windmill. And Mike also got one tonight too for the first time. So I hope y'all
first time
enjoy
in my life
having that membership. First time in Mike's life. Yeah, I think Ozark too. So it's a good night.
74 years I waited.
That's right.
74 years for that.
And all you needed was the blessing of Bigfoot. And, because, I love Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot almost as much as I love Toast, but I really love Bigfoot. And just one more time for all you. Yeah, heck yeah. Pay attention.
You rock, let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the skies, to the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows, the wild spirits sing.
Look at that smile. Tell me it wasn't
Bigfoot.
that
smile's good, Well, it's a little bit evil. I don't know.
Did you notice at the top of this this chart here, she said evolution model prediction mutations are beneficial and generate a vertical change. In other words, she's trying to imply that evolutionists believe that all mutations are beneficial.
All mutations. Yeah, you're right.
That is so poorly worded as to be egregious.
Yeah, I can't actually read the chart very well either. I can't read those words; they're a little too tiny. Here, let me try and full screen it.
Maybe I can make it bigger. I don't know. Well, it's about as big as we can get on the screen, I think.
The middle thing says DNA damage.
DNA damage. Yeah, that's sort of like poisoning the well, isn't it? Telomere damage, chronic stress. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, she's got apoptosis in there. Why in the world would she put that in there?
That's a feature, basically.
Yeah. That's part of how embryos develop.
That's as big as it gets.
Yeah, that and you need apoptosis in some organs in some situations. So it's something that happens for a reason.
Apoptosis is the reason we aren't born with gills and tails and all kinds of other atavistic traits from ancestor body plans that we don't use anymore.
Good evening, Christopher. Thanks for stopping by.
That's such a weird inclusion.
Yeah, I don't know. She picked that up. Basically, that chart came from like a Google search. I'm sure you can very easily.
Or she maybe got that from a creationist source.
Yeah.
You could see them making something like that.
I don't think creationists know all these big words, so I think it's probably a legitimate thing from a biology book. Well, oh God, I shouldn't have said that out loud, but that's just my opinion, I guess.
No, that's fine. It could be.
Okay.
I think it says underneath it, doesn't it?
What's that?
Oh, it does.
The little print. Yeah, there's a little print underneath there.
Under CC by. You asked her about CCC, or did somebody in somebody?
That was Taco.
Yeah, that's Penrose's cosmological idea.
That's what I thought it was.
CCC. Yeah. Anyway, so the last thing, mutations. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, the net of not second to last. Net effect of all mutations is harmful. That's bullshit. Incorrect, net effect of all mutations is 0. For the most part, your genome can mutate all over the goddamn place, and your cells will still function because there's so much junk drawer DNA that can withstand mutation, and there's also the fact that you can have synonymous mutations that will create the same amino acid. They don't make any difference. So most mutations are not harmful. Mutations affect and are affected by many genes. What?
I'm confused. I'm not even the one before that. The net effect. What is that referring to? Is she referring to all mutations across all species? Because what?
I don't know. Or even in your own body, I mean, you have so many mutations on a daily basis that you would be dead if the net effect was harm.
It's that. Yeah, that one's an especially weird one. It
takes about 11. It takes about 11 sequential mutations I've read in a molecular biology of the cell to end up with cancer. I mean, you have to have a number of mutations of a particular kind in a row. But there are so many things going on in your cell that cancer becomes fairly common overall. But it takes a lot of mutations to get unlucky enough to have cancer. So, Okay, so what do we got next? Here we go. How evolution fails. Oh, this ought to be sweet. What do you? All components of an organism, they're necessary.
Complexity.
Okay, functioning size simultaneously. Okay, irreducible complexity again. Genetic mutations cause damage to the genome, thus leading to reduced survivability. No, they don't. Not always. Very, very seldom, in fact. Most all mutations are either slightly deleterious or lethal. Oh, that's that. That goes back to what's Sanford, how he misread. What's his name? The neutral evolution guy. What's that?
Are you talking about Kondrashov?
No, not Kondrashov. I have his book, by the way. His book is very, very interesting, and not what they say it is. But no, what's his name? Ono? Not Ono, but let's see, who came up with neutral evolution? Damn, my brain is going. I need a nap, but I can't take a nap till I get that paper. Let's see.
Where's that paper? I need that paper. Give me some paper. just a little bit. Just to get me by till tomorrow.
Man, I'll suck your dick.
Hey Seth, how you doing?
Oh, Moto Kimura. Okay, he came up with that graph where he didn't show beneficial mutations because it would have fucked his model up. He was trying to show how neutral mutations work. And then Sanford took and ran with it, right? And he totally misunderstood the thing. And that's where she came up with this. This is directly from John Sanford and his genetic entropy bullshit.
She did put him in her sources page at the end.
Oh, he's in there? Yeah, okay. Yeah. The mutation rate in living organisms is rapid, and the mutations are cumulative. Well, not always. Selection usually kills them, so they're not accumulative, and that's where Sanford's wrong. Is because not accumulative.
This is why I brought up Kondrashov, because it seems like they're kind of chewing around the genetic load paradox problem a little bit, which is actually like my favorite problem in evolution. But of course, they butcher it.
Yeah. Alexei Kondrashov.
I am of the opinion that a problem in a scientific theory is not necessarily actually a bad thing. I think it can be a good thing because it shows you where your understanding can still improve and expand.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that your whole model is wrong.
Kondrashov, the point that Kondrashov was making was that because humans are a little bit weird and we tend to take care of everybody, there is some worry that we are accumulating some sort of genetic load, basically. And he was like musing about that through his entire book. And at the end of the book, he has no conclusion. They're not sure. They don't know how this is going to affect us. But it's a concern. So
well, I think there's a really good model, and that model is basically that a very slightly deleterious mutation will not affect an organism's survivability and reproduction. And if it does become severe enough to affect that, then selection weeds it out.
Right.
That's one of the things it's a touchy subject and folks don't like to hear it, but yeah, the fact is modern medicine is interfering with the natural course of things, so to speak, right? Is it going to have an effect, or is it just another environmental pressure, right? That just acts on our evolution. So yeah, it will be interesting to see what effect we have, because we are, artificially selecting people to survive that otherwise may not have, and especially not long enough to reproduce and pass it on.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. And that's especially not a bad thing, because one of the effects of that, basically what, the concrete reality of that is that a lot of those people that aren't dying because we have better medical intervention now would be newborns and delivering mothers. Used to be like half of women would die during childbirth, or half of babies would die during childbirth. And now that doesn't happen so much anymore because we have better medicine. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that we're fighting the natural order, and giving into the natural order that's not necessarily be a good thing, because it would mean a lot of dead women and babies that would otherwise be alive.
Speaking of improved medicine, have you noted, I don't know, at some point we were talking about irreducible complexity, and I looked up appendicitis on using Copilot, and appendectomies weren't invented until 1885. Think about how many people died of appendicitis, burst appendix and such, prior to 1885. It's an incredible number, because that's a very common ailment.
I heard that Ramses was one of the longest serving pharaohs in Egypt. Generations came and went, and it was always Ramses. And they noticed that in his skull and the mummy, that it looked like he had a bad infection from a tooth. So it's possible that even though he lived to an old age, defying the odds, missing that bus coming at you, so to speak, right? That a bad tooth that might have actually took him down. Something that could be easily taken care of nowadays with some
because
antibiotics and a trip to the dentist.
It makes you go septic, your blood gets infected, and boom, you're dead.
So Ambushed Apostate Tilting Windmill just put out a link to the channel. It has a thing on the Ark protest. How about that? Something on a short? Yeah,
you can. You want to see how hot it is? Seth captured me from the back, and my shirt was soaked. So if you want to know how hot it was there, my shirt shows it.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't go. I would have died. Basically, you would have been.
It was brutally. Well, they're thinking about maybe, not doing it that weekend. It would be nice if maybe, a month earlier or something. That is a brutal hot middle of the summer day to have it. I understand it's because that's the day it opened, but is it really that important to do it on that day?
Yeah, try it in September. Yeah, instead of July. And it was too close to July 4th for me to be there. I
it
could
was
have
the
pulled it
same
off. It had been a
weekend.
different time. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe
Anyway.
does, looking back, Joe did say that was probably not a good idea competing with the holiday weekend and all. But, it was Joe's first rodeo. And, anybody that's in any kind of this business knows there's always a learning curve. There's going to be things that go wrong, guests that don't show up, speakers that don't work, amplifiers that blow out, and you just have to accommodate, right? Something happens, you make a phone call, you get what you need, and the show goes on, right? And so he's looking into doing more activism, so he might be behind some more events. He's thinking he kind of would like to do that kind of stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah. Good. Okay, mutations arise faster than selection can eliminate them. So where did that little factoid come from? Because I think that's unsupported.
That's
If mutations,
another Stanford, I think.
yeah, another assertion. And if it was the case that they arose faster and we could eliminate them, I think maybe life would be dead already. I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes. So if that
overwhelmingly, okay,
what occurred,
they're talking.
sorry, I was just gonna say when that actually happens, when mutations accumulate faster than selection can weed them out, what occurs is something called population collapse. So if that were the case, we'd see populations collapsing left and right, which is not what we actually see. We see vibrant, adaptable populations. There's nowhere close to that level of collapse. So it's a weird thing.
And mutations are overwhelmingly too subtle to be selected. That's also from Sanford's idea on the chimera and neutral evolution. And what they mean is that there are very small things that are going to make changes in proteins and gene regulatory networks. They're not going to have that big an effect on the phenotype. But that could well be the mutation that ends up saving the species when the environment changes. And we don't know that. Like I say, neutral evolution could go either way. Okay. And that's what's really hard to understand about how this life thing works is that particular mechanism where these small changes happen and the thing slowly shifts around in a population. And then part of that population, because of drift, will survive when the environment rapidly changes. And then you'll end up with a speciation event. So.
Yeah, it could go either way, right? I mean, there could be something bad runs through the population, as I was hinting towards, or it could be something good, as I think Austin was hinting towards, and like you're confirming, Mike, that there may be this tiny little thing that's building up in the population that might just save us all. So you just, I guess you don't know till it happens, right?
Or it could kill us all. That's possible.
Or
because there is such a thing as extinction when we don't make the grade.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, bad mutations are okay. Okay, they're talking about linking basically. Mutations are often physically linked to good mutations, causing them to not be separated. And inheritance, of course, it all sort of averages out, and the species survives from one generation to the next. I don't know. Genetic linking, or what is it? There's a whole bunch of mathematics involved in that. It's very interesting. Let's see. That's another Sanford thing. A process that steadily degrades the genome cannot produce a better organism. That's just a bald-ass assertion, right? I mean, that's like saying, oh, evolution is false and not supporting it with anything. So I don't know where she came up with that.
it's been disproven, Mike. I mean, like I said, I almost wanted to laugh out loud when it was really hard a couple times when I just wanted to say, you're debating somebody that's taking evolutionary biology classes. It's interesting that somebody would be not only taking them, but they would still be offering classes in something that has been disproved. I found that one was really hard not to say something, because I really wanted to say, Austin, what is it that you're taking in school? And of course, she brought up Lenski, and a lot of us know Jay Bundy worked there in that lab. And if anybody knows anything about it, it's Jay Bundy. And, Jay will tell you that a lot of stuff was learned doing those experiments. And the same as when they bring up the fruit flies and everything else. None of those experiments were designed to turn a fruit fly into an elephant like Hovind wants.
No.
And,
because for one thing,
the
environment doesn't change. In Lenski's lab, they don't change the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And without changes in the environment, you're going to end up with stasis in basically the phenotype. And that's not what it's all about. It's about looking in detail at some of these genetic mutations and how they can basically turn on a new function. So anyway, nobody's trying to turn a fruit fly into a dog. You ever seen a fruit fly give birth to a dog?
And with the irreducible complexity too, Tilting Windmills dropping a link for Jay Bundy over at the Pocket Locker. Jay Bundy is a degreed biologist, and he debated Michael Behe on Michael Beverly's channel.
It was phenomenal, Mike. You have to go.
No shit.
Oh, you have to see it, Mike. Yeah, Michael Beverly's channel. Look up Michael Beverly, Jay Bundy, Behe, something like that. I'm sure it'll come up. Jay Bundy brutally took down Behe's claims, and Behe is the irreducible complexity guy, as Austin brought up, the mousetrap. And it's been proven that you can take parts off a mousetrap and still use it for other things. Even the point I think that she tried to make was that it's not a mousetrap anymore. No, that's not true, because some of I forget his name, the one that does the talk on it,
Ken Miller.
Ken Miller, thank you. Some of his students actually took pieces off the mousetrap and made mouse traps with just pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a functional mousetrap by taking parts off of a mousetrap. So the mousetrap thing is another one of those really poor arguments, I think, that's been thoroughly debunked, but yet we heard it again tonight. There it was.
Miller took it to the next level. He not only had them do that, he had them make other things with it too. He had them make tie clips. He had them make pen holders. They made countless functional things with just pieces of a mousetrap. And it's such a brilliant illustration of how irreducible complexity is.
There you go, Mike. Ember's hooking you up. Thank you, Ember.
I think I posted it too.
There's Jay's
why do
debate.
I have a different Earl on mine? So I'm looking at Michael
on Jay's channel, Pocket Locker, and one on Michael Beverly's. That's possible.
Tilting Windmills got it too. Evolution or design? Bundy versus Behe.
Yeah, cool. Bundy, to use a technical scientific term, absolutely bodied Behe in that debate. It was brutal to watch. Behe actually ran away. He ran away after part of the debate and said that Jay was just so mean and disrespectful that he couldn't take it anymore. And Jay perhaps did the most brutal two-word takedown I've ever seen anybody do of a scientist, which was he just multiple times told Behe to, quote, consider retiring.
When Jay gets something on his mind, I mean, he's going to come at you. We've seen him go after a couple folks here and there, and Yeah, he takes no prisoners when it reaches a point, and as Behe was trying to do, I wrote a book, and he kept telling him, nobody cares about your dang book. Where are your scientific papers? And he kept, and that's actually, I think, why he got upset, because he kept mocking his book, because he kept saying, I don't care what your book says. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Hello, deconverted man. What's happening? Good to see you. Deconverted man says, I'm back home, but I'm not feeling well. Little bit of meh.
Ooh.
Anyway, so the design is not intelligent. It's just bad design. All I believe, Deconverted Man, are you back home from the show? I believe Deconverted Man was going to see a show. Are you back from seeing your show? Yeah.
Superman?
Close. Close.
Was it a certain fantastic
he
show?
is. Deconverted Man, I believe, went and saw Weird Al.
That's right.
Yep, there you go. Went to see Weird Al. I hope you had a great time. Deconverted Man said it was epic. Well, good. I'm glad you had a great time. You deserve a good time.
Yeah. I think Deconverted Man's seen him a number of times. He was just on Colbert too. Weird Al.
Yeah, I believe, Deconverted Man is a fan and goes to see the Weird Al. So
I'm watching my inbox with bated breath for that paper, Mike.
Me too.
Katrina got back to me. I guess her computer's back up. I gave her my email so she can email me the highlights of her paper. I also asked her where it's getting published, and apparently it hasn't been approved for publishing yet. She just put it out for publishing, and the publisher that's considering it is called Creation Research Quarterly.
Creation Research Quarterly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Deconverted Man has seen UHF at least 27 times. You're a fan.
UHF was such a hell of a great movie. It's just hilarious.
Maybe I can publish my paper and Creation Research Quarterly.
I do like some Weird Al. It is worth a listen to.
See if you can get it published in Fiberglass Quarterly's trade journal.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I can get it there. Okay, so Creation Research, CRS, has a thing called Creation Research Society Quarterly, CRSQ. And if I become a member, let me see here. Instructions for authors. Okay. What do they say? You gotta be a creationist. I wonder. Appearance. Okay. Yeah, they have a whole thing on how to do a paper. I could do a paper here because I found a whole bunch of stuff that creationists would love to talk about. Anyway, but it's all wrong. Anyway, the next thing here, improbability of life occurring in the simplest cells with the corresponding molecular complexity vastly exceeds 1 chance in 10 to the 150. Now she's going to Douglas Axe. Is he in the references?
I wish she could have brought this up during the debate so that Austin could say, can you show me the math on that?
I don't think that would work, Scott, because for one, she doesn't know the math, but even if she did, it would probably take like anywhere from an hour to maybe even like 2.5 hours to break it down, especially if people are asking questions, which we would be.
Yeah. So if you had a protein with 120 amino acids and your job was to create it by randomly throwing amino acids into a pile, then it would be 1 chance in 150. But that isn't how life happened, and that isn't how proteins evolved. And Douglas Axe is talking out of his ass.
So here's the thing: you never go with statistical analysis if direct observation contradicts it. No matter how much math we do on paper that makes it seem like heavier than air flight is impossible, and indeed that was once the majority of the math, heavier than air flight is possible. So no matter what statistical probability you calculate for whether or not heavier than air flight is possible mathematically, the actual statistical probability is 1. That's the first problem. The next problem is, the way they're modeling the numbers is all wrong. They're using an assumption that it's basically a brute force searching method, and just throwing
back
things
of the
into
envelope
a pile is basically is a pretty good example of that. Another example could be like if you're trying to guess an old password and you have no clue at all what it is, and you just go through and you try 01234 or 0000 and then 0001. That's an example of brute force searching. That's not how it would actually occur, because there are developmental biases, like things like hydrophobic or hydrophilic side chains, natural properties of chemistry that are going to dictate interactions, at least to some degree, which is kind of like having some idea what your password is, and then you can try, like, I know it's like cheese and then a number that was somewhere around 17, so you can try cheese 17, cheese 18. Oh, it was cheese 19. I got it. Like it's the probability of getting a correct guess is significantly different between those two comparisons, and the same is true if you take into account the chemical biases when you're talking about protein folding, which protein folding is a bleeding edge problem in life sciences. It's not a refutation of evolution. Again, it's an area where our understanding yet still can expand and improve.
AI just made it better. But anyway, if you take
my gosh, yes. AI's making artificial proteins. Those things are so cool.
Yeah. And the thing that they don't understand about proteins is that proteins often have very small areas, basically called a domain,
Yes.
or a motif, right? A motif that does something active, that does something physiological, like it will capture a zinc ion and fold the protein or whatever. And those things are like 6, 7, 8 MERS. They have 6, 7, 8 amino acids. And if you take a 3.5 billion nucleotide genome, and you have the probability of finding a 6 MER, 6 nucleotides, you're going to find 781,000 of them in that genome, right? And if you go up to a 10 MER, if you go up to a 10 MER where you have 10 nucleotides, you're going to find 3,000 of those. And it's not until you get to, let me see here, until you get to a 16 MER that it falls below 1 by the possibility of finding 1. So anyway, mutations in a genome of that size will create these domains just by random chance.
Yeah.
And they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the whole protein.
I did some very long math on that myself. It took like almost 5 hours. And that was basically what I found out too. Which
I just went to ChatGPT and it took 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I definitely had the AI check my work, but I didn't want it to generate the work for me.
Yeah. Anyway, so protein evolution is really interesting, and protein folding and how proteins actually work. When you start to understand that, you start to understand how evolution is possible. Yeah. And it just follows from seeing how proteins work. And how amino acids are sorted. Basically, there's a whole bunch of basically hydrophobics and hydrophilics and acids and bases, and there's some redundancy there, and it's really amazing how possible evolution is when you start to understand that in detail.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Mike. Yep. I don't want to blow smoke up your ass, but your level of knowledge of microbiology continues to impress me. And I love that you've cultivated this level of knowledge, even though you're technically a layman, just because you find the subject so interesting. And that does inspire me. So I just want to say,
I am a high school dropout, and thank you very much, Austin. And you can thank me by getting me that goddamn paper.
I am working on it. Okay, I just
I
Give me
know.
some paper. Come on, just enough to get me by. I need that paper.
I need some paper.
Mike is no slouch.
I will-
I always learn a lot when I'm talking with Mike and Scott as well, and Simos and everybody else that joins us in these great conversations, and the great conversations we had over with Simos too, over on the State of the Onion. A lot of great conversations, and a lot of folks, lot of smart folks out there. So don't give up hope on humanity just yet, Mike, because we still have some smart folks out there.
We'll stick with it for a while. I don't know.
I love that State of the Onion name. That's great.
He hasn't had one for a few weeks now, right? He's taking a break.
He wants to do them in like series
seasons.
So there's a little break in between, and then I think he wants to put his ideas together or whatever. And I also believe it depends too on their they follow the racing, so if the racing is on or off, or if one of them's going to their races, or you know what I mean. So Simos, no slouch. Simos knows a lot of stuff really well. He knows history and everything really well.
Mike, and this reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Bertrand Russell, which is, one of the whole problems with the world is that fools are so sure of themselves while wiser people are so full of doubt. You will not call yourself a microbiologist, but Kent Hovind calls himself a fucking doctor. It makes me actually physically ill sometimes to think about.
I'm getting to the point where I'm almost willing to call myself a molecular biologist, but I'm going to wait until I publish a paper before I do that. So that's a good
idea.
Here's a good one. Christopher says, well, my family may have left me for ChatGPT, but I've been stalking them long enough to find out that they're two-timing with DeepSeek.
Yeah, pretty cool.
You know what, Mike? If and when you do publish a paper, you should put high school dropout as your.
I know. I would be really tempted to do that. Yep, I'd be tempted to do that.
Make that your email address. Don't they let you put your email address for inquiries on the paper?
Yeah.
Yep.
High school dropout at gmail.com.
Yeah. Michael Brusnak, HSD. High school dropout. I used to tell my clients, I'd go to work for my clients, and after I worked for them long enough to impress them, I'd tell them that I was a high school dropout. Just to look at their faces. It was fun. It was pretty excellent.
Yeah, the public school system's a nightmare. Don't get me started on that.
God. Well, they weren't teaching me anything at all in that fucking high school. It was so bad. It was horrible. I had a good biology teacher, and
what's up, Will?
I'll say that much. That was about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of public schools where there's not a lot of learning going on.
Yeah.
Oh, we got another one. Left-handed Jedi's predicting there will be a country western breakup song. AI stole my girlfriend.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yep.
And they drove off in the pickup truck.
So then, for some reason, she has the work of 6 days of creation. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, this is one of the blatant breaking of the theology rules that I just kind of let slide because otherwise she probably wouldn't have continued the debate. And this does give us some information about the model. I don't think it's the information about the model that she wants us to take away, but it does tell us that it's openly unfalsifiable. But she did also kind of admit that at the end of the debate. She tried to say they're both unfalsifiable.
Look at this first one, energizing of the physical elements of the cosmos. Where did that happen in Genesis. Where
Nowhere.
is that biblical? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Formation
for sure
of the
extrapolation.
okay. Atmosphere and hydrosphere. What the hell is a hydrosphere? The water
I'm
above
guessing
and the water
oceans.
Water. Water.
Water. Okay, and formation of the
some
lithosphere.
hydrosphere.
Rocks.
Okay, the atmosphere came after the biosphere. Huh?
The lithosphere should be referring to lakes. That's what lithology is the study of the bottoms of lakes. But
Oh, limnology.
no, yeah, I have that wrong.
Yeah,
It's about some kind of
Rock.
stratification, I think.
It's about rocks, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, but okay, we got rocks and we got the biosphere, and then we get the atmosphere. So didn't you kind of need an atmosphere for the biosphere? I don't know.
Okay, it's like that stupid conventional science model that they built by looking at the evidence
astrosphere,
and drawing conclusions from it. This is like a fun Bible version of it that you can get if you assume the Bible is true and then try to twist facts to fit. It's like a fun little theological project.
Okay, it says astrosphere, so she must mean stars, right? Astrosphere?
Yeah, I have heard some people say that Katrina might maybe be a flat earther, but I'm seeing a lot of spheres here. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing.
Yeah. Atmosphere, hydrosphere, formation of life for the lithosphere.
She has the hydrosphere on 2 different days.
Yeah,
she has it on day 2 and day 5.
Yep, and then day 7, rest from the completed work. Why does a omnipotent being have to rest?
Dude, have you ever created the biosphere twice, or the?
I guess, yeah, or the
hydrosphere twice?
Where were you when I created the universe?
He's just creating spheres like he's doing reps on a workout machine. There's a little some atmosphere.
Yeah, that's like even Superman has his weaknesses and occasionally gets hurt or tired. Yeah. I get it. Okay.
Deconverted Man sent you something, a link to Chat GPT, something, a whole bunch of numbers. I don't know what it is.
You don't want your God to be too much of a Mary Sue now. That's just bad writing.
Yeah, it's like my sons
sent it to me too. Okay.
My twin boys used to play these games. They used to play these fantasy games where one of them, they'd be using their imagination and they keep getting more and more powers until they had infinite powers. And then they just look at each other and they realize the game was over.
Yeah.
Because there was nowhere to go. Just like omnipotent works that way.
Deconverted Man's link.
Oh, God fails. Oh, yeah. How does God fail? How does God fail? Yeah, here we go. How God fails. All component. Let's see. Can I make it bigger?
They're applying irreducible complexity to the God concept. It's taking Katrina's logic and twisting it into. Oh, that's clever.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's worth saving.
Very cool.
Cool. How come that isn't working like a ChatGPT link? What the hell? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Okay.
Ember came in with the facts. Lithosphere is Earth. It's the dirt. Wait. Doesn't she already have? Oh, okay. Okay, so she only lists the creation of the Earth once on day 3. Is that biblically accurate, Ember? Did God make the Earth on day 3? I thought that He separated the waters on day 1, which is when the Earth formed.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It won't scroll for me either.
Yeah, it's an odd link to ChatGPT. I've never seen him. Oh, he linked he had a page, a PDF.
Okay.
And he linked that instead of linking the actual chat where he created it. So I get it. Okay. That makes sense.
Anyway,
You fail, deconverted man. You fail.
At least it didn't
Okay.
have Lemon Party in the title. So
Yeah. So then after we rest, the first book of Moses. Oh, look at this Bible on the left. That's interesting.
yeah, more
Creation according to
flavor
Scripture.
breaking of the no theology rule, but again,
Yeah.
I've seen it slide.
Scientific processes cannot create organic or inorganic material. What? Yeah, they can.
Yeah, what in the hell? No, that's not even close to that. I did
Yeah,
that
she
in
went
my
off.
biology lab this semester. We made
Yeah.
every kind of biomolecule that you can think of. What?
Yep. I don't know. And then, yeah, so scientific method is limited. Okay, scientific processes. Okay.
Oh, that's a great point, Ember. Ember pointed out that she didn't clarify which day it was on, but she pointed out that God didn't actually create the dirt. The dirt was already there. He just separated the waters, revealing it. So I
Right.
guess creation of the lithosphere is kind of accurate, but not really. More, reshaping of the lithosphere. But also, Ember, which day was that on? Scott, do you remember which day? That was day one, I thought.
So Matt Powell recently said the Big Bang is false because you can't create water from dust. But then Katrina said you can create man from dust. Where did he get the water?
75% water, yeah.
Where'd you get the water?
Yeah. I don't think it has to be consistent, and the answer when it isn't is mostly just don't think about it.
Oh no! Here we got a genetic entropy graph.
And then when you do think about it, you become an atheist.
Right. Yep, that's the problem. Okay, we have a genetic entropy graph, declining fitness. Okay, what is this bullshit? 1 to 2% per generation. 1 to 2% per we're fucked. I mean, we should be dead.
Yeah.
Oh, Sanford thinks we're going to be dead within 3 centuries. I think he said that we're going to be extinct because of genetic entropy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how that applies to insect populations. Mosquitoes, for instance, they breed like hell. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, it was day 3. Okay.
Okay.
Christopher.
Summary.
Christopher did not listen to us and not look up what a lemon party is.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have looked it up.
No. Is that one of those deconverted man gotcha lookups?
That's one of the ones he sent you one day, and you were all going, "Oh no!" I believe that involved the elderly gentleman being romantic.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no.
that is correct.
Yeah, and don't open deconverted man's links.
That's an internet deep cut. That's
yeah. You've learned
it featured a graphic
lesson.
graphic image of 3 elderly men engaged in a sexual act, often accompanied by music.
It's just,
my God.
It's just male bonding. There's nothing to question about it. It's just good old fun.
Male, yeah.
I'm getting up there in years, and you don't look as good on camera as you used to, but
nope.
yeah, hey, more power to them. More power to them. Hey, rock on.
It's just
have
friends
fun.
showing appreciation to each other. Okay, I don't know why you're making it weird.
Just a little wrinkly. That's all.
No one over 60 should ever have sex. That's just my opinion.
Oh man, I only got a year left.
Yep, that's it. You got to stop, man, because
I got to stop
the
next
image
year.
of the image of yourself naked getting out of the tub is never going to leave your mind. I mean, you cannot do that to your partner.
Well, my birthday's the end of next month, and then I looked it up. And we started doing Saturday Night at the Atheist, I believe September 12th. So coming up here pretty quick, it'll be 1 year we've been doing Saturday Night at the Atheist every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Wow, is that a year already? Holy shit.
Almost.
Okay, so here's her summary. So, creation model is supported by the first and second laws of thermodynamics. Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, she came back to that one numerous times. What was it? Well, I think Taco said, "What's your evidence for your model or something?" And it was always the first and second law.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and misunderstanding the idea of the first law that energy can't be created, which Hovind missed also tonight.
Yes.
And the second law, which Hovind also missed and Joe explained, was that even in the entropy state of energy going down, you can have areas of energy increasing. I believe Mike put in the comments section, like if you had a big old sun in the sky.
Yeah, right. If you have a sun, yeah. Where are you going to get one of those?
Yeah.
There was a part where I explained to her, mentioning a paper I read recently, how the second law actually supports evolution because it says that the matter and energy will get all mixed up, and that is necessary for the elements and compounds that form biomolecules to chemosynthesize in the universe. I think that point may have went over her head because I don't remember exactly what she responded with, and then in the moment I didn't press on it, but I think it was some nonsense.
Yeah, that's what Mike was pointing out. The second law applies to closed systems. And the Earth isn't closed because it not only takes in energy, we also give off some energy. So we are a true open system.
Yeah, that sun in the sky is just beaming all kinds of particles onto the planet, and that is where we get most of our energy from the producers on the planet who use that solar energy and water and carbon dioxide in photosynthesis, and then primary consumers eat them and the secondary consumers eat them, and on up through what's called the trophic levels, which is the ecological level of biology, which is something you start getting into semester 2 of your college bio classes. And I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to that because eco is very interesting.
Penrose just did a thing slamming creationists, I think, misunderstanding his theory, but I can't find it.
It's on Phil Harper's channel. Phil Harper, what's his name? He's a physicist. He too wrote a book about about different ideas about
how do you spell the last name?
Halper. His channel. Skydive Phil or something like that is his handle, but the name of the channel is Phil Halper.
There's
I just saw that video. And it's really good. He explains that CCC model of his really interestingly.
There's Kafai. Your name came up earlier, Kafai. How you doing?
Penrose calls out creationist Stephen Meyer. I'll post it in chat here. I just found it. Hang on a second. Oh no, that's not it. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Copy video roll. Yeah.
Oh, I think Tilting Windmill beat you to it.
Anyway,
Tilting Windmill. Okay. Penrose calls out creationists.
Goddamn smartass.
Tilting is on it, man. Let me tell you. I appreciate Tilting very, very much. Yeah. You know what? Tilting is just, hold on. Tilting is just so awesome. We just got to drop another one.
Let's rock with the fire in our veins. Rock on to the sky, till the thunder and rain. All hail Bigfoot, the legend, the king. He walks among shadows of wild spirits sing.
Yeah, we appreciate folks around here very much. Thank you very much.
So what do we do with this science denial believerism? I mean, the Creator revealed His creation work to the holy prophets by His word. For Christ's sake,
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because I was just thinking, I hope one of the main takeaways of this video is that this debate and us breaking it down and analyzing it and examining the weaknesses and intricacies of both sides' arguments is exactly what needs to happen. Like, I lost it. I had some thoughts, but
one thing about the Christian model as well is you can
basically
associate
analogous
the creator or God with Bigfoot, and Bigfoot then becomes the explanation for life in the universe.
Yes,
but you can't do that with evolutionary theory.
I got it back. This is analogous to basically the part of the scientific process called peer review and interaction. And we're subjecting creationism to the stress testing that creationists themselves won't subject it to. And it needs to happen for both evolution and creationism to evolve. And I think that's important. The reason it's important for evolution to evolve, it's obvious. We'll get better medicines, better techniques. We're already getting better, insulin. Why creationism needs to evolve is because if it's going to exist, it should at least be refined into the best version of what it can be. And I don't think it's entirely without any potential value. And I hope we can, change things enough to, I don't know, maybe make it something.
Yeah, but it's really tough
to mitigate some of the damage.
It's really tough because places like AIG are pushing this homeschooling bullshit, and kids are really being blanketed with this misinformation in bigger and bigger numbers, I think. And it's really kind of concerning. I don't know. Anyway, it's I'm gonna drop that down. I was doing some stuff this morning about rhetorical clouds and how they have this, like they'll come on and they'll gish gallop through a bunch of quotations of renowned biologists, and then they'll say, it's been refuted, it's been destroyed, it's been debunked. That isn't how this shit works at all. And it isn't what we're thinking about every day when we're doing research and working on these problems. It's just so wrong-headed to have this rhetorical cloud to come up with this rhetoric and push it the pastor will push it at his congregation. And they'll all sit there nodding, kind of, they're half asleep. It's fucking Sunday morning. They're not thinking a lot, right? And they're just nodding approval. And I've had I've had relatives tell me that this shit is happening all like in northern Minnesota. You'll go to a church and they'll start talking about fucking evolution and how false it is. What the hell is going on?
Sydney says creation peers in quotes.
Yeah.
So kindergartners.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I brought up often, that sometimes listening to them is like listening to a little child. And when a little child does something, you praise them, right? Wow, the imagination. You figured this out all by yourself, right? But creationists don't seem to have grown out of that, and they want praise for thinking that they're smarter than people who, like I often point out, literally sleep on a cot in their lab because they're this close. They're this close. They just can't go home, but they need to close their eyes for a few minutes. And then they, probably like Mike with his genomes, you wake up, you open your eyes and you're like, oh, and you got to get right back into it,
Yeah.
And then so you have somebody that talks to Sal a couple of times and they're like, oh, I've got it figured out. All the scientists are dummies. And it's like, well, good for you. But be realistic. Do you really think, you've got it all, or, any of them, Ken Ham, Hovind's, Comfort, Carl Baugh, the Discovery Institute, the list is way too long, sadly, that these handful of people who all repeat each other mostly, a lot of it comes out of ICR, have got it all figured out, and all of academia is just in on this big scheme to
Big
put
conspiracy.
made up things in biology books. Of course, genetics is another big, strong part of evolution now, and everything added into it with what is it now called? I know that it's not the modern synthesis. It's they added some
The extended synthesis. Yeah.
extended synthesis. All right.
So
And
I got to tell you,
but creationists will accept genetics if you get like a DNA test for a crime or for family ancestry, finding out you're related to whoever, right? Then it's all good.
Yeah.
But this same exact observational science, whatever they want to call it, is accepted there. But you can't use it though if it's associated with the word evolution.
Yeah. So two short little stories about children and bless her little heart. When I was 4 years old, I begged my father to get me black pencils and paper and a notebook. And when he got them, he didn't know what I wanted them for. But when he got them for me, while he was at work, I colored the paper with the black pencil until it was pure black. And I took each individual paper and I went out in the driveway and I pounded it into the driveway with a nail because I was trying to tar his driveway for him. And my dad drove home with his truck over the nails. And the second one, my dad used to put little ditches in the yard to drain the water. So I begged him for straws. And of course, back then we had Trump straws, which were paper straws. And I was going to build an irrigation system with paper straws. And I was so disappointed. I had tears in my eyes at the end of the day because it just didn't work. But, that's the way creationists are. They just bless their little hearts. It's just like they try. They try
we were talking about that earlier. It's something called the pre-operational stage, where kids can they can kind of do some level of interaction, but they can't do logical processing. Like if they try to jam a circular block into a square hole and it doesn't go, they'll just keep trying, and not put together.
Or
it's the wrong shape.
Blacked up the driveway with nails.
Yeah, Ember missed the Joe Hovind extravaganza, hanging out with Bree tonight. Bree does the Charlatan's Web on Fridays, and I did stop over there and say hello. Did Kent ever provide positive evidence for his position? I'll hold my breath. Ember knows all too well. I put in the chat at one point, is this really Kent or is it just a recording? Because it gets word for word repeated.
I can't listen to him anymore.
I know it is really tough to listen to it again. That's all you can think is, oh no, not again. We're going to talk about cows are still cows, and I don't want my tax dollars paying for religion taught in schools, which I think is totally baloney, because I think he'd fully support religion being taught in schools if it was his. The same old stuff. So, and he seems to be showing his age. I've noticed he's been cutting them off early lately, and he did it again tonight. Hey, it's getting late. Let's get to the Q&A. And so, it was cut short. Joe had some good points he threw back in there about, and something Hovind's been told a bunch of times about star formation, that we do see stars forming. He's said over and over for years that we don't. And for years, people have been pointing out, Hubble took images of stellar nurseries many years ago. And you're way behind, or you're just intentionally denying it, because it's like talking to anyone. The ones you see with Ray Comfort, they'll cover things he says. They'll show that he's completely wrong on these points. You'll see Ray literally the next day talking to somebody else saying the same thing. So it doesn't get anywhere. And some points, some people have good points that are you really doing any good talking to these people? However, I always point out, and a lot of us know, there are people listening. right?
Yeah.
There are people out, and you may not know they are. You don't see them in the chat, but some of them are listening. So we always hope that some of those that are listening are hearing that. He not only doesn't have his stuff straight, he doesn't understand basic terminology. He makes up his own terminology. The thing with the science just means knowledge that all the creationists use means absolutely nothing. And one question I would like to ask a creationist is there a field of science that you do accept? Because as far as I can tell, they deny every field of science.
It depends on where they are on the spectrum, but yeah. My theory with Kent Hovind is that he's actually died like 7 or 8 times already, and now the clones are starting to get kind of sloppy. Each generation of clone gets a little more mutant. Now he's really tired, So, yeah.
That's a good theory. Good theory.
Also, Dave, you made a fantastic point about observational versus historical science. It's kind of like going to a crime scene and seeing pools full of blood and somebody standing over somebody's already dead corpse, stabbing them with a knife over and over again and screaming how much they hate them and how happy they are that they just killed you, and going, we didn't see the murder happen. We can't convict anybody. All of that is circumstantial evidence. We can't repeat the murder occurring because the person's dead, so we can't bring them back to life. So with
it ain't science.
Any assessment you make about that is unscientific, which is a little kooky. I think we can all agree. And then there's 2 more other points I want to make. And I know we've made 5 million points in this video about this debate, but these 2 I think are significant. At the end of the questioning, I asked her 2 questions of my own because I'm studying psychology right now. And one of the things psychology can really help anybody do is do a better job of thinking critically. And one of the things, the 2 things I asked her the last 2 questions of the debate. And the first one was, I asked her to imagine that she is now no longer a young earth creationist, and then to tell the story of how that happened. And I think it's a useful heuristic to try and identify some of the weaknesses and biases in your thinking that you're overlooking. And she couldn't even imagine. She wouldn't even imagine it. She said, I can't imagine not being a young earth creationist. I'm so incredulous. There's no way I can even envision a story where that happened, which I think is really showing some weaknesses in critical thinking. And then that set up the second question perfectly, which is I straight up told her what the point of the first question was and asked her, do you have any heuristics, any algorithms, anything you use, any tool whatsoever to check your own critical thinking for biases and overcome them? And I don't remember the exact wording of her answer because it was pretty long, but I remember what the gist of it was, which was if she found something that was confusing or she couldn't understand, she just reminded herself that the Bible was true. She said, I reminded myself of what I knew, which is like basically admitting to the anchoring bias. So maybe she'll identify that anchoring bias in her thinking if she goes back and watches it a couple times, or if she ever gets around to watching this video, maybe. But yeah, no, I think it made it very clear to me, at least, and I hope it made it clear to the audience that there was some severe fault in the critical thinking happening there. So
Sydney's a cat fan, just like you are, Mike. Of course, it depends on the recipe.
Yep. Yeah, I'm playing with Loki right now with the fishing toy. It's constant.
Our cat, I should say, has been, I don't know if it's her age or something, but she's gotten very picky about what she wants to eat lately. And it's very annoying.
Well,
turns her nose up. Yeah, no matter what you give her, she just, I don't want that either. And it's like, You're going to starve. That's what you're going to have.
Yes, Snack goes nuts for a brand of cat food. So I go to the store and buy like $50 worth and come home and he's like, nah, I don't like it no more.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
like, I'm over that.
My wife's
Like,
the same thing. She's got all these different kinds. It's like, you liked it yesterday. And it's like, nope, not today.
What the?
Get busy getting me something else. Come on, wait on me hand and foot.
I'm
And
so
I
over
often
that.
remind her, her peers are running the streets licking garbage cans, and they're doing just fine.
I'm missing my cat right now because I'm dog sitting this week. So, and I can tell he's missing me too because every time I go back to my condo to feed him, he's like sitting right next to the door, and he practically hugs my leg the whole time.
Yeah,
and he practically screams with me out. Yeah, he's like just losing it.
Yeah, that's what
It's
Snack
adorable,
does
but
when
it's also kind of heartbreaking.
when I leave for 3 days and come back. He just follows me around. He's running around my legs, hugging me just constantly, going meow, meow, meow. Where were you, asshole? And I got one Loki. What he does when I come home from a trip is he runs in the library and then he comes out every hour and bitches at me, just like and hisses. He actually hisses at me. Goes back in the library and it's like, you son of a bitch, you left me for 3 days. It's like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Tori's got 2 cats and a dog. I've got 2 dogs and a cat, and one is an older dog and the other one is a younger dog. And the younger one is just a love. I mean, just wants love all the time. And I go out the door and he's right there. I'm going out with you, right? And soon when you come back in the door, if you were outside, yeah, he's right there at the door. I mean, he's just the biggest love you ever want to see.
That I'm watching right now. She's a big fluffy dog.
Big fluffy dog.
Nice.
He's huge. She takes up most of the couch.
Hey guys, I got to get out of here. I haven't eaten yet. Well, that's right. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to eat till I get that paper.
No, you need that paper first.
But I got to go.
Second chromosomal fusion for dinner.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's getting late. I'm sure everybody needs a break.
Yep.
And we will gather again tomorrow. I've got Pastor. I think it's Pastor John. And Pastor John's going to straighten us out about atheism and
good.
I
need
the
that.
Bible's true or something like that. Yeah.
My life is meaningless.
I could continue breaking down this debate for about 5 or 6 more hours. So I think
know.
we should probably call it.
Yep.
It's a good start.
It was, well, like I said though, it was nice that it wasn't ugly. It wasn't. Mark Reed did that debate with that Andrew Slimeball, and he had to go back in and put a bunch of bleeps in it or something because it wouldn't pass TOS to post it. And I mean, any of us can cuss or say, stupid things, right? But in the end, I just think it makes you look bad, right? I don't think it's a winner just to call names or use derogatory terms. I do think, you've got some other idiots are going to follow you around, but in the long run, I really don't think people will take you seriously en masse because you're just going to get found out that you're just calling people names, and anybody can do that. So.
My mom swore like a sailor, so basically that's where I got it from. And then I went to work in the Italian bakery, and that's where I really learned how to swear. I just never lost the habit. And
good night, Scott. Scott's dropping out and going to bed. And good night.
I'm leaving
good night to you, Mike. Good night to you, Austin. Guys. Thanks for having me on your channel. Thanks for coming over here on my channel, and we'll talk to everybody soon. All right.
And thanks everybody out there that was listening tonight. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. Good night.
Let me pull up an outro here, and we'll rock on out of here. Let me see. We want. I should have had this ready, and I didn't. But I know it's. I know where it is. I just have to get there. And as soon as I get there, I'm going to hit it.
Yeah, I'll fill some of that time by making the observation that I've been streaming for like 6 hours on my phone and it's overheated.
Whispers float without a sound. History speaks in tales of lore, knocking at the captive dash's door. Oh, legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the captive dash's door. Captive desk, hold our dreams, where reality no myth seems. In conversations, quiet flow, the mysteries untold will know. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at